What you thinking, man?
I've been in the polyamory lifestyle. I can't even say lifestyle because it's not a lifestyle. It's a way of loving, not a way of living. I've been polyamorous for about 10 years now.
Okay.
And the mindset for me is mentally, I think I've been polyamorous longer than actually practicing it because I've always felt that this monogamy just doesn't fit for me. Like, I don't understand why I have to only love one person or why I can only show affection for one person. Where is this written? Why do I have to go along with what the societal standard supposedly is?
Right.
And then the problem comes when you love somebody too much. When you let yourself love somebody too much,
and they don't love you the same.
It's not even matter whether they love you back or not. They can love you back, but it's still unhealthy to love somebody that much. Which I understand that ideology of that. Well, I can't have. I might as well. I've been there. I know that. But at the same time, you have to realize, what your culpability is in a relationship going, however it went. You start thinking about, well, damn, I did this. So, you can love somebody too much. And then, see, that complicates things for us men because we already have a hard time forming those emotional attachments. You already told don't do that.
The missing link to that goes back to a time before we even thought, why doesn't my father like me? Is that a protection for me?
Right.
Or is that the way he was raised? Or maybe somebody hugged him one day, a man hugged him. I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm just saying we got
but there are things that could have happened that absolutely that caused him to be the way he is.
Made him feel weird, needed.
Right.
So the things that we think are sometimes a rejection or a lack may have been a protection.
And most of the time they are like absolutely. But if we don't understand that, all we know is the rejection.
You see, what I understand with my father,
men were going to jail, killing each other, and then now we got bisexual, then we got gays, now we got transgender. So with all of that going on, the purpose of that was removing the black man, the black male from the household. Okay? So with him not being in the household, she's getting the welfare, or she's out there in the workforce, forced to take care of herself, and if she have children, to take care of the children alone. Whether he's in jail, whether he's dead, whether he's bisexual, whether he's gay, whatever. The black male was removed from the home, and black woman was forced to provide for the children, for herself.
You're missing one other thing that removes black male from the home. That's white women. Because after a while, it was run on black men, white women. Yeah, white women. At one point, black men, they just had to have a white woman. No matter what their social economical status was, white women was the way to go. And so that pulled a lot of black men out of the house.
Damn, I sure missed that. I mean, I know Rick James, I know, you did it. I just didn't think of that as a major absence of the black man. So
being a provider means so many things.
Right.
It means put you in a house. It means I got your back. It means we're doing this together. It means I'm not gonna walk away when things get hard. That's providing, right? I'm gonna provide emotional protection so that you can, I'll be present for you when you don't feel like you can be there for yourself or whatever, so there's so much more definition to the thing, right? And even on the flip side, looking at, the men with kids, right? I remember I did not want a man who had kids. And I was about 25 when I met my ex-husband and stuff like that.
Yo, what's happening? What it is? Another day, man. Another day in the living. Speak on the podcast. I'm the host, DJ Black. Y'all know I do it. I got George and a special guest, Miss Zoe, in the building. What's happening with you, Miss Zoe?
I'm good. How are you, love?
Great, 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 great. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. But the way I always started off, uh, George, introduce yourself to Miss Zoe. Then I'm gonna do my little news thing. Then we're gonna dive into this controversial topic.
All right. Well, good evening. Name's George Brooks, CEO and founder of Meta Association, which is a nonprofit where we focus on Black male mental health. We focus on fighting recidivism and promoting healthy fatherhood. As mentioned, I'm a public speaker. I speak on various issues. I've been through addiction issues, traumatic divorce, relationship issues, chronic health issues, and a lot more. So I try to speak on that and use my narrative to try to help as many people as possible.
And that he
Hi,
does.
Mr. Brooks.
And tell us about yourself, Miss Zoe.
Um, I am the owner of Zuzu's Cakes. I've been in business for 10 plus years. I am a wife of 18, almost 19 years.
Whoa.
I'm a
Okay.
mother of 5, raised by the hood and
Okay.
hood approved.
That's what's up. I like that. And intelligent with it. I love it. I love it. Okay. And all month, last month, and then starting out this month, all these deaths and it just making it known that we're not here forever. And it really makes moving on to the next life to me a little bit easier because death has just been around us since 2020, so it more plentiful. But we lost some legends, and these are the two that recently that got me, and both Jameses lost. We lost both of them, and the fact that Eddie Murphy bought both of them back last year to do the Coming to America 2, because they was the original actors in the to America 1. I just feel like that was just genius, man. And then James Earl even passed away in the movie on this, for Eddie Murphy. He played his dad, and then he did a session where he actually passed in the movie. And then we lost him, this year. So I give it up to this man. He is a genius, and he's steady working. He's one that I admire and look up to, man. That dude came a long way. We seen him from trading places to where he's at now, and that man really defies, like Miss Zoe said, hood approved, and made his way to stardom. So I wanted to start the show out giving my condolences to those two great actors. James Amos being America Dad to a lot of us, the first real father, not the Cosby, the real father that was out there busting his ass for $2 an hour to feed his family in the projects. The real father. He wasn't George Jefferson. This man came from the good time. A lot of people could relate to good times. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people. And to lose him, it was that was something. America's dad. So if anybody had to be America's dad, it was James Amos. He was mean as hell though. I used to watch him on TV and I was scared of him. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. That man was mean as hell to JJ Nell, man. But I wanted to start the show off giving my condolences to them. And also, it was an explosion in Georgia, Covington, Conyers area, where the kids were, out of school, families forced to evacuate their homes, and things are slowly getting back to normal. But this happened Sunday,
Right?
And just now getting back together later on this, today, the afternoon. So then the hurricane hit, the week before that, we still got people in the Augusta area that still don't have power, food spoilage. So if they didn't have homeowners or renters insurance, they have to find a way to get food. But a lot of the food banks and shelters are also offering them food, but it's just a tragic. So my thing is count your blessings.
Right.
Stop waking up looking for something to be messy and angry over any little thing, man, because tomorrow ain't promised, and the good life you living can quickly take a down spiral. I was always taught that no matter how you have it, there's someone else out there that has it worse than you. So I just wake up and just be thankful for every day. I don't sit around and dwell on the bad. I kind of try to focus on the good as I continue my day.
Right. Right.
So I wanted to start that off today before we dive into this topic. Now, when I first heard someone say this, and this was before Chris Rock boldly went on stage and said this, but I'm going to show what prompted the title for this evening, the discussion.
Only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. Women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is only loved under the condition that he provides something. Okay? I've never heard a woman in my life say, you know, after he got laid off, we got so much closer. No. I once heard my grandmother say, a broke man is like a broke hand. Can't do nothing with it. What kind of gangster shit is that? That's right. Women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is only loved under the condition that he provides something. That's right. Fellas, when you meet a new girl, what do your friends ask you? What she look like? Ladies, when you meet a new guy, what do your friends ask you? What does he do? What the fuck does that nigga do that can help you out? Can this motherfucker facilitate a dream or not? Even right now, Michelle Obama is looking at Barack going, what's your plans, nigga? How's that book turning out? I need to see some pages.
When I first saw that, okay, I had mixed feelings on it, and then I had two co-hosts at the time, and they're going through their women issues, and when they saw that, oh boy, that's their honor, man. A man is only love. The only reason you can get a woman is if you do something for her, and you got to be able to do this. If you can't provide, they gonna leave you, man. They ain't this and that. And so I had mixed feelings on that, and I'm gonna dive into my thoughts on that later, you know, as we go on. But from watching that footage, how true or how untrue is that? And I want that to be answered first by Miss Zoe, the hood certified, married 18 years, which, man, that's, you about to hit the milestone, that 20 year. Many of us do not make it. And if we do, it's a struggle, and we're in it for a condition, whether it's meeting the bills, whether the kids are still in school. We seen all that growing up. So listening to that, Chris Rock, and that has gotten into so many of our men of today's head, which is their excuse to why they're not dating the modern day woman. Let me hear your take on that clip we just watched.
All right, well, I'm gonna start by saying all my marriage life I had to fight.
Oh, you're
It
what?
wasn't easy. All my marriage life I had to fight. It wasn't easy.
Okay.
And that's just life. Life isn't easy. It's not tailor-made. We don't have a guide. I mean, some people say, well, the Bible is a guide. Yeah, but when you're in the heat of the moment in a situation, you have to make quick decisions on how you're going to choose to deal with that situation at hand. However, I will say, based on myself, that is a very untrue statement.
Okay.
Um,
When she paused, I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna say it's true. Okay.
I mean, it depends on which side you choose to look from. Because like I've always heard there's three sides to the truth: your side, their side, and the truth.
Right.
So you can't tell a person what their truth is. So if a man feels undervalued, underappreciated, I would think a wise person would listen to what that man say if they value that man. And that goes with anybody. If you value a person, you're going to listen to what they say and try to understand where they're coming from and then find a solution. That's if you care. But I think that's so untrue. I feel like because men can tend to be emotionless, when they are overlooked, they don't always say, hey, what about me, y'all? Now y'all forgetting about me.
Right.
That men tend to let things slide and go unspoken until the crap hits the fan. But from, like I said, from myself, I feel that's untrue. I always try to make sure I consider my husband, and make him feel included, and try not to take him for granted, because I've always grown up with the saying ringing in my head: treat people how you want to be treated.
Right.
And I try to go by that. Now, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not human. Sometimes we forget, but that always ring in the back of my head: treat people how you want to be treated.
And I just had a talk with someone the other day, and I was telling them that being in a committed relationship, being true to your partner, honest, I say it's simple. It's not as hard as we try to make it out to be. And I said the simple thing is, don't do to them what you don't want them to do to you.
That's
so
right.
If I don't want her to say she's going to the store and then I pick up a female to ride with me while I'm out, and she go to the store with me, hang out, and then I drop her off and come back home. If I don't want the wife doing that, then I don't need to do it. You get what I'm saying? I mean, it's simple. If I don't want her talking to me a certain way, don't talk to her that way.
Right.
Because I'm a firm believer in what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and what you do, I can do too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so if you don't want that, just don't do that.
Right.
And I think that's how a relationship works. And then you got 18 years in it. I'm going on 8, married, but knowing for 12. So 12, 13, somewhere up in there. So I'm feeling with, what you're saying. And those marriages go through stages. If you can make it to 5, if we're 3, you're going to be wondering, why did I do it? 5, you're going to hit this little thing at 5 years, then you hit another thing at 7. Then they say if you make it to 10, you almost there. Then when you pass 10, that 13th year, they say is hell. So, it goes through stages. And for you to be in it that long, that means you learn the give and take of a relationship. And you have, you both decided we're going to be together, because the ones who make it is not the ones who go through it, but the ones who get through it. So I was talking on here last week, and we found out George had been married 16 years, and then it ended in divorce. And I was shocked, because like I say, I didn't think he would even, if married. I gave George 4 years in a committed married relationship. When he said 16, he messed my head up. And so I was like, when he messed my head up with the 16 years, we both was, this guy that I'm bringing on now, Skip, we both was like blown away that this brother married so young and was in a 16-year relationship that ended in a divorce. Then I hear you on here this week, Ms. Zoe, 18 years with no divorce. And I want to pause. Okay, Skip had to go out. But yeah, 18 years with no divorce. How do you do that? I mean, was it from watching your parents? Did you come from a 2-parent household?
Absolutely not.
Ooh.
Absolutely not. I think we made it this far because of the amount of give and take, right? At times I had to give a little more than what my husband gave, and I had to give him grace, and the same for my husband, vice versa, and I didn't really have an example of what it's like to be married. I only knew the type of person I wanted to be, not only for myself, but in my marriage and for my kids. Sometimes, we could hit that sweet spot, and then sometimes things just go wrong. But we learn to catch ourselves before it goes too wrong.
I said that last week, and that's what I told George. I say, somewhere in that relationship, some lack of communication had to come, because if you're gonna go down an aisle, go through all that trouble, the butterflies and everything, just to say I do, somewhere down that line, somebody had to be the bigger man, the bigger person to say, hey, we need to talk.
Well, the thing is, in my situation, we were bigger people, and we realized it was over. That was us being the bigger people in our situation, learning to walk away.
Right. But I'm saying generally in relationships, but when we're young,
right,
we are like I said earlier, you can do, I can do. Right. You can do what I can do. You know what I'm saying? It's tit for tat.
Let's be clear. We had those moments.
Yeah.
That used to be my motto to my husband. Anything you can do, sir, I can do better. Like, so don't embarrass yourself. Let's be clear. Like, I'm a good woman, right, but I'm not above the BS.
Oh, I'm gonna hit you with that too. We get deep on here. I'm gonna hit you with that too.
Let me touch on Chris Rock's statement though.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this gonna be based
off a male perspective.
Yeah, just based off my personal experience as well. I think this statement is true to a degree. I think the difference is that a lot of us men, we get in our feelings and we want to say all women like that. I'm not going to say most women like that, But it's too many women that are like that. They only see the value in a man as far as what they can attain from them. I've heard it from women in the dating scene. Basically, what can you do for me? Hi, how you doing? What kind of job do you have? So there's a lot of that pervasive mindset out there. But I think I think that's where you have a lot of men turning away from marriages and traditional relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I was married 16 years. I was engaged for 4 years after that. So I'm in a different mindset.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You said after the marriage, you met somebody else and was engaged for 4 years, or were you engaged?
Yeah, I was engaged. I was engaged after the marriage. I was engaged for 4 years after that.
No. Damn, George. I'm glad I'm finding all this out. God dang.
Yeah, so I think that's true, to a certain degree. I think it just depends on the person. Some marriage and long-term relationships are not for everybody. Okay, so you have to look at, you really have to, and I'm glad Ms. Zoe said this, because one thing she said that really stuck out to me, she said she had to be happy with herself.
Mm-hmm.
Who she wanted to be. And I think that's where we lose a lot of focus to.
Right.
We don't value ourselves. So how do we understand how somebody else is supposed to value us? I value myself in a different regard because I know as a man, I bring different things to the table. I can bring
right, and that's me. And it comes across as arrogance to some people. And I found out on this podcast, Ms. Zoe, because this podcast is really like a therapy session where I learned a whole lot about myself just by talking to different people that come on the podcast. So it's kind of like a therapy thing. And my thing is my confidence. I have a lot of confidence, and I feel like if you can do it, I can do it. And if you can get it, I can achieve it. And so that's just my attitude. And I thought I was kind of born with it, but being on the podcast, talking to different people, it was brought to my attention that my parents instilled that at me at 4, 5, 6 years old. And I ran with it, from then. And so I know what I bring to the table. I know I'm anointed. I know when I'm with someone, how they're going to blossom and prosper while I'm with them. And I've seen it too many times. I'll lose everything and get it back 4 times fold. And that's just how I'm blessed. And so when I get in relationships, I used to try to force walk by faith and all that onto different people that I'm with. Everybody can't grasp that concept. And it was hard for me to understand why they couldn't grasp it. Because if you walk by sight, you're going to be a miserable soul. Right. But if you walk by faith, it's limitless. And that's how I walk. I don't look at my bank account and say, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this. I don't even look at the bank account until it's time for me to pay something or do something. Other than that, I'm just doing what I do. And they say, it just comes. And I've been walking by and living by that since 2000. Right. And so in my relationships, I was more of I'm like George. I was, until I met who I'm with now, that dating stuff, I didn't see marriage. I'm a loner. I didn't see marriage. So I was more like, I wanted the revolving door. I had the revolving door. You're going to get 3 or 4 women that I talked to, and she got Wednesday, the other one got Friday, and I see the other one on Sunday. And she got to be gone for my son get up because I want him in court. So you got to be gone before he get up. And then the women was like, I'm giving them what they call, quote unquote, hoe hours, where you have to come to my house after midnight. You got to be gone by 6. And a lot of them didn't want to put up with that, but I wasn't ready for him to wake up, and I got to get him dressed for school. And then she helping, but she riding with us to go to school, or she taking him to school when I don't know what we have. So I was one of those parents that was like the women, and everybody ain't gonna meet my son. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I was just like that. So hey, he sleep at 10, so y'all can come by after then if I'm not DJing at the club. You come by the house, we're gonna DJ at the club. You got to come by about 2, about 3, probably about 3. But I need you gone no later than 6:30 because I get him up. I got to get him dressed. He got to be at school at 7. So it was like, you got too much going on, and it's real. I really like you, but I can't do that. And so I went through a lot of that, and so I learned to have, I guess, what you call relations with no feelings. And so when I hear that statement, men are judged by what they can provide. I wasn't providing. I just was enjoying myself. So when I first heard that statement, my thing was that came from a guy who couldn't get women on his own and had to offer something to get women. That's how I viewed it.
Okay.
And as a trick like type deal, he coming to the table. I can take care. I can help your bill. That baby face. I buy your clothes. I pay your rent. I do your dinner. And I was like, well, I don't believe that because I don't give a woman nothing. Because I learned at a young age. Like I say, okay, I went to the Bayou Classic. It had to been. I was in high school, and I met a girl at the Bayou Classic. And we hung out the whole weekend. And so we exchanged numbers and addresses and all that stuff. And the Bayou Classic was like in November. For Christmas, she sent me a gold marble Guess watch with a black band. And if anybody know anything about the Guess watches, those things were the shiznick back in the Gizm. Okay, back in the Gap. So she sent me that. Okay. So from that point on, it was more of a what they can do for me type deal. It wasn't about me always having to go out my way, this and that, because I was also dealing with women who would I would give them my necklace or something, and when we break up, they kept it. Or when they get mad at me and we finna break up, they break the necklace. So I was like, I'm not finna do much giving. Right. You know, and then when she sent the watch, and I would have moms to send her certain things for Christmas and Valentine's. But they mostly gave to me. So I kind of when I hear a man is only loved by what he can provide. But then I was thinking, I grew up in a 2-parent household. All my brothers were married. So all my uncles, everybody was married. And their wives respected them. He was man of the house. She didn't do all that talking back that I see today. Do all that yada, yada, yada. They didn't do that. And so I grew up seeing that. So it's just certain things that are deal breakers. But I like to say that I'm not going to tolerate, but I've learned the word to say is deal breakers through George and the other therapists that be on here. I learned to create boundaries and deal breakers in relationships. Right. And so when I hear him say men are judged by what they can provide, they're loved by what they can provide. I was more like, I don't like, okay, my first dates, a lot of guys like to take women to expensive restaurants and try to show out and open doors, do all that shivery stuff. I was taught that if you're not going to do it regularly and you ain't going to keep it up, don't start it. Mm-hmm. So I think our first date, her sister was working at McDonald's and we got free burgers from her sister. From McDonald's. She snuck them out the game, brought them to my Durango. She brought them out there and we ate and we was kicking. I wasn't about to do a stuffed chicken wings or something like that cost $40, $50 on one way plate. And then I got to sit there and get a salad and a glass of water. I don't do that because I'm like, you got to keep that up. And then blues songs start coming out saying you gotta whatever, you gotta do what you gotta keep that up. And if you don't,
may I interject for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. First of all, I want to say, like the great philosopher Lil Wayne said, "Ain't tricking if you got it."
Right.
That's crazy too.
What happened to a woman, a potential woman, being an investment? When you take a woman to a nice restaurant on the first date, that's an investment. The investment can be a multitude of things. You can be investing into a good future with that woman. You could be investing in a good evening with that woman. Wherever the day take you, the night take you.
Right.
But what happened to that? Why it have to be called gold digging when a woman set a standard? What's wrong with standards?
Because you can have a standard, but the way a lot of women do it is they do it so harshly to men where it's like, if you don't hit this certain standard, you ain't nothing. A lot of them have the attitude. And that's what turns a lot of men off. It's like, we don't, speaking for myself, I don't mind helping a woman. I don't mind financially or whatever when I got it. But at the same time, to be ridiculed for not having it on that level is what turns a lot of men off, and what has a lot of us feeling that way. Because that Chris Rock statement, to me, what I heard a man that's been devalued before. A man that says that has been underappreciated before. He's been taken advantage of before. He's hurt his pride, his ego. So that's why he feels that way. Not because he can't get a woman. He just may be getting the wrong woman.
Okay, well, the Chris Rock statement. You cannot withdraw without making a deposit. So,
go ahead. I'm gonna come in a minute. Go ahead.
I mean, you can't expect for me to value you all the time. Oh, babe, you did such a great job. Love, you're such a good man. Without you pouring into me.
Right.
I mean,
but see,
I get what you're saying.
That pouring in person doesn't always have to be financial. I think that's where a lot of people get confused. Is they think it can be being a good man. It can be being a good man ain't enough to get you nowhere nowadays. That's not
okay. Now, being that my I grew up in a like I say, 2-parent household. We had things, we lived a little bit better than a lot of others. And women would use you just because of your resources. And I learned this in high school.
You mean a woman would use a man the same way a man would use a woman? Is that what you mean? Because I'm not trying to make it into a man versus woman debate. I'm not. However, I had a conversation with a young man today, and he said everything is just a double standard. I'm not exactly sure if he know what double standard really means.
Yeah, it sounds good, right?
So I said, okay. Well, he told me women they gold diggers, they use people. I was like, okay, you mean women use men the same way men use women? You say we just want y'all cake, but don't y'all want our cake? Don't y'all want to pound on our cake? The same way.
True.
So how can you expect a woman to not want something that's worth her time if she has to deal with all types of manipulation, being hurt from other relationships, mom issues, gaslighting? I mean, shouldn't I get something out the deal? Now, my goal is not to get your money, whatever money you may have, because let's be clear. If you work in a 9-to-5 that's where you're receiving just above minimum wage, you ain't got no cake. You ain't got crumbs, love. Let's be honest. I can't want your crumbs if I'm making more than what you make. So I can say from the women I've grown up with, every woman that I know, or just about every woman that I know, my friends, they go into a situation wanting to be a girlfriend, eventually a wife. Never let me see what I can take dude for. Let me see what he got in his pockets. I've never heard any woman I'm associated with say any of that. And I also don't operate that way. When my husband and I got together, it was never my intention to say, hey, what kind of job you have? How many jobs you have? What your bank account look like? I never led with those types of questions. But you know, women will often get that text, hey, big head, um, send me a picture of your booty.
Mhm.
Before we done got 1 mil.
Yeah, you messing with that. Those are gotta be younger people.
Yeah. Well, no, it's older dudes doing
No,
this
sir.
shit too. It's just you dealing with the wrong type of dude. Any dude that come
Yeah.
with that energy off the
Yeah,
rip.
and the deal that I was saying was I wanted, because of how I grew up, what I seen growing up, and the things I went through, I want you to love me and be interested in me for me, not for because I'm taking you to a fancy restaurant and we finna spend this and that and that. Once I earn that this person likes me for who I am, then comes
with
the
that.
finer
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't jump off in there because too many guys has it backwards and they messed it up. They go and become Wallet Earth soon as they meet. I can do this for you, do that for you, that way. And then they get used for that because they came with the wallet first.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna be chilling. And when we get to know each other, we both spending time, we get to know each other. Then here comes all these. You may get a dozen or more roses at work. Then you get off, you chilling on your off day, and then I pop up, hey, get dressed, let's go here. You know, we do the Ruth Chris thing or whatever. But I don't start
Okay,
off
is that
doing
before or
that.
after sex?
Say what?
Is that before or after sex?
Before.
It's before, because I'm not one. Because I have sisters. I'm not one who thrive for sex, and I wasn't sexless through junior high and high school, so sex didn't really matter. And so I don't date or meet somebody with sex on my mind.
Exactly.
Especially once you get older. After high school and I'm gonna say 2 years of college, you start kind of seeing something different. So by the time you in your sophomore year of college, I was kind of more mature because I had done everything my freshmen. So no, it's not. I don't thrive for women just for sex, because that's nothing. It came
Yeah, you
too
can
easy.
take it anywhere.
And
That's not
we
special.
have Austin just joined in. We have Ms. Zoe on the line, and she has some interesting points. I must say. Austin will be asking Ms. Zoe a few questions too. But yeah, I was a firm believer in we're gonna like each other for who we are, and like George stated, if I know about a woman's need for her electric bill to get paid, or a need for her rent, a shortage on her rent, and I'd rather volunteer, especially if it's in the first 2 to 3 months of meeting and no sex involved. If you ask me for anything like that, and we're just learning, you just trying to get to know each other within a month and a half, that's a total turn off to me, and I'm gonna stop answering the phone. That's just how I do. You know what I'm saying? So you really got to be careful out here, George. The single people
If you
have
start
it
asking
bad.
for,
Go ahead. Who was that?
if you start asking for money in a beginning stage, that shows me that you're not handling your business, right? So either you are spending outside of your limits, or you know, I don't know, or you're not spending it on the right things.
And that's a
So if you
turn
need my
because
help
you don't
coming
know how to
in
manage your
that
money.
early,
Well, I say for the first
yeah,
6
then
months,
that's an issue for me.
you know, I say for the first 6 months, just leave money out the relationship altogether. Don't even
I'm not
talk.
paying no
Then
bills regardless. I'm not paying no
Zozo
bills.
say then leave sex out of it too.
Okay, if that's what it takes, fine, leave that out too. If that's what you want to do, it's your choice. But
I threw Miss Zoe out there, then I
And
pushed it in.
me personally, I don't mind. I mean,
Sex is not a thing for
me personally, I don't mind taking you to a good meal because I like to eat.
Okay.
I like to eat out, so that's fine with me. Well, let me rephrase that. I like to eat dinners. I like to go to
you
fine
said it
dining
right.
Oh
restaurants.
my goodness.
Eat out.
So you might get a meal,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, you might.
Yeah,
Like
so
I said,
that's why I had to
I'm with
change
him,
that. So
but I'm not.
you
That's
know,
not going to be my
so
first thing. Let me try to
you might look
impress
up and get a
you.
meal,
Not, and that's if I have a taste for it.
right?
But my first thing ain't gonna be, I miss her. Let me take her to a nice. Let me see where we gonna go.
But what's wrong with treating a woman well? What's wrong with treating a woman well?
It's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
but
I'm a proponent of it. I still open the doors. If you with me, you're not gonna even open your door to get out the car. I do all that consistently. The thing is where it's a perception of value. Okay, if I take this woman to a nice restaurant, am I gonna get peace out of her? It's not even just about sex, because what I'm looking for out of a woman is peace and intelligence and a sense of humor. 3 things. Sex you can get anywhere. So it's like you said, Ms. O, it is an investment. But a lot of men are kind of gun shy about making that investment, even in terms of a dinner, because we know what it can lead to, or we've been in that situation before.
And plus, you have to research and know before you invest. Just because something hop on the stock market and it's new on the stock market doesn't mean that it's a good investment. So I just don't believe in going out my way with things like that when I don't know that person. We just trying to get to know each other. My thing will be going to Piedmont Park or something,
right.
Holding hands, walking, maybe do a picnic or something. I don't necessarily have to go to a $100 a plate restaurant just to impress a female. So there's more things that I would do than do that, because once you do that, the minute that something happened, let's just say something happened and all you could afford is Chili's or Outback, but she used to going to the more extravagant restaurant, it may be a problem.
Yeah, she gonna look at you like you falling off.
Yeah, it may be a problem.
Well, that goes back to what you said before. What you start is how you have to finish.
Right.
So don't stop.
But however, if you are treating this lady so well and she have good understanding, she will understand. Okay, it's Chili's today. It could be Ruth Chris tomorrow. That's if you have a good one. Now, it seems like we're speaking in terms of a gold digger.
Right.
Or, as people would call it, an HOE. I can't speak for those type of people. However, I can say that me and my husband didn't always eat at, Ruth Chris or High End Place, Houston's, or somewhere like that.
Right.
We had times where we went to the Ground Patty. DJ Black, you know what I'm talking about. We went to the Ground Patty. We went to we went to Burger King before. I mean, it wasn't always great. It's been instilled in me that it's always greater later. It may not be so great today. Tomorrow it could be something different. And I'm not with my husband under the expectation of getting something better.
Right.
Is because I know my husband, I know when he have it, I have it.
Well, I think the thing too is that I think a lot of men, are looking for women that can help build us up. So what we may be lacking fiduciarily right now you know, we give it the right woman that know how to support and nurture our dreams, then we can do those things, provide all those things in terms of money. But it's just there's such a disconnect between black men and black women where we don't know how to support each other to come up. And we have such a me-centered society. Everybody worried about I got to do mine, and then I think about
Go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, me personally, I don't need you to build me up. Yeah, I don't need you to build me up. Whatever I have, you can just be an addition to. You can be an enhancer. So, and then just going to an expensive restaurant in the beginning, then you take her to an inexpensive restaurant. You can see how the attitude may change. You can see what may come out. You know, so that can be a determining factor on if you want to continue to deal with this person or not, because then you see what they are kind of about. Now, if they roll with you to Perry Steakhouse, and then they roll with you down to a Chinese buffet, you know what I'm saying? Then you'll be like, all right, no issues, no problems, no concerns. Right. She gonna roll with me regardless, and that's the type of person that you're looking for, you know. But again, it also depends on what you're looking for in this person and what they're looking for in you and out of this relationship. Because everyone that you start to date, even in the beginning, you're gonna go ahead and establish what type of relationship you all are gonna be in. If it was a sexual relationship, or if it's just y'all being cool, or are you looking for something more? So especially if you're not dating with a purpose.
Right. And so, so that's where I was coming from. But once we're together, it's whatever.
Yeah, it's whatever.
You know, the sky's the limit.
It's just a path a lot of people taking to get to their point of togetherness and relationships. I think a lot of people are rushing too fast to be coupling with somebody, so they're not really taking time to get to know somebody, because you got to watch their spending habits. You got to watch how they talk to other people. You got to get to know somebody, especially before you get into a sexual. Well, not so much that before you get into where you helping somebody out.
But right now, it's the sexual thing. Right now, the women are wanting it more than the men.
More than the men, yeah.
You know, it's like women, they want it more. And like I say, I'm one, because I had sisters and cousins that I used to listen to that were females. I never made the first move to have sex, and I have lost a few women because of that. Because I'm not first to do that. Yeah, they'll until we in a passionate moment and they touch my belt and try to mess with my zipper, then I know it's go time. But before then, I wouldn't. And I've done that before, and the lady went off and messed with somebody else and was like, well, I didn't think I was attracted to you because you didn't try to have sex with me. So it's like, like the guy told her, it's a catch-22, a win-lose situation. You know.
Well, you have to look from that perspective of a woman will switch up a guy because of whatever circumstance. Women are conditioned, something that y'all may not be aware of. Women are conditioned. I mean, as soon as we can understand that women are specifically on earth for a specific thing. Us being almost a tool, if you will. We are here to service men. That's just it. We are to have the babies. We have to take care of those kids. We have to keep the house in order. We have to manage finances. We have to provide peace and happiness and balance and a multitude of other things. If a woman is conditioned to believe that she is only good enough for sexual pleasure, can you blame her? To an extent. So if a woman left you alone because she felt like you wasn't attracted to her enough to have sex, she probably was conditioned to believe that's all a man wants, and that is all she's good for.
And now that you say that, and that's why this is therapy, because I didn't understand that, because the chemistry was there. She said, but you didn't try to have sex with me, so I figured out you wasn't sexually attracted to me. So she messed around with some little thug that was always begging her to have sex. You know, but she wanted to be with me, but I didn't move fast enough. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, I never asked a woman. Number one, I'm not a person that take well to rejection. So,
right. And
I'm not gonna try to unzip and all that. And then you say stop, and then I'm sitting there in the awkward moment. So I never did that. You know, even with my current, when we first met, she initiated. You know what I'm saying? I know how to get you in the mood. I know how to make that passionate heat come from my body to yours and get you in the mood. But I don't just automatically start trying to unzip your pants or take out your bra. That ain't me. I've never been like that.
Mm-mm.
They make the first move. So if something goes down, they can't say, I'll force them to do nothing. Yeah. You initiated it. You was putting on the belt buckle. You unbuttoned the pants, and you did the zipper. And after that, I did the rest. But right. I don't initiate it. I never have.
You know, a lot of what it comes down to is men and women is what we value ourselves as, and a lot of women think that's the only thing they're good for. That's because they don't value
today, especially today.
Yeah, especially today. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about when that happens. When a woman don't value herself, that's called self-esteem. You can't give that to her. She got to earn it on her own. We can't give her self-esteem to value herself to where she knows she's a queen and not just a piece of meat. And a lot of us men, we got the same thing because we feel like conveniences and not kings. I felt like that. I felt like instead of folks treating me like a king, I was convenience. But until I started valuing myself and getting myself right, I kept falling in all these toxic relationships and messed up circumstances. So the thing is, you have to value yourself and work on yourself because can't nobody make you happy. I can do things that can facilitate making you happy, but I'm not responsible for your happiness.
I said that one time on the podcast. I was talking to the panel, can a man make a woman happy? And the answer to that is really no, because if, like you said, Ms. Zoe, if that person's not happy with themselves, you wasting your time.
You pouring into a cup with a hole in it.
You know, I had to learn that. I didn't always know that. I live out here in Houston, and
that's where both of my friends live in Houston, Humboldt, Houston Spring, and that area.
Yeah, I'm on the southwest side, baby. Well, I was listening to the radio one day. I think I was going to pick up my kids from school, and there was a conversation about, you know, happiness, that a person is not supposed to be in a relationship with you to make you happy. Right. They're supposed to add happiness to your life. And I was like, hold up. Now, at this point, I think my husband and I, we just got married, probably a year into the marriage. And I was like, hold up now, no, that's not true. And then I had to reflect, like, wait a minute, is that true? Mm-hmm. And that really, it opened my eyes, like, that is absolutely true. If I'm not happy with myself, there's no way I could ever be happy with what anybody does for me.
Right.
I mean, when a person comes into your life, it's an addition. You were birthed alone. You are always alone. And if you can't be happy by yourself, you'll never be happy with a partner.
Right. Absolutely right.
So that really opened my eyes, and that's something that I had to teach to my kids as well. If you count on someone to come into your life to make you happy, they will disappoint you all the time. You'll never be happy.
That's right.
So you cannot allow anybody to make you feel that without them you can't be happy. That's not real life.
Because that person you think, that person that you married to, you think he gonna live forever, wake up to, next to, die next to, that person be gone in a year. You never talk to or see them again. So you got to learn to be
and again, you know, that's why, you know, when people talking about you complete me, no, you should already be complete when I find you, because you can't complete me and I can't complete you.
Right.
But we can come together, you know, and we can be twin towers or whatever you want to call it. So I don't want to have to build someone. I've tried that, been there, done that, and it doesn't work. So I need you to come in. I know some people still come in under construction. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's what I meant earlier. That's what I meant earlier when I said that.
Yeah. So you may come in under construction, but at least you're working on being complete.
Right.
You might have to go in and do some renovations after you are complete, but you're still working to continue to grow in who you are and what you are and how you feel to be the person that you need to be for the person that needs to be what they need to be for you, and y'all be what y'all can be together.
Right. And so we got to remember, we always under the potter's clay. We always got God's hand on us. So the person, we always evolving and changing. So as long as we keep working on ourselves, then you can have an addition to your life in terms of another person. But I think in this society, we're so used to coupling, and everybody got to be paired up with somebody that we just rushing into situations. And you seeing people just going through women, going through men time and time again with the same result, because we're not working on ourselves. And like I was saying about building a man up, I didn't mean build a man up as far as building him brick by brick. But if you see he building himself up, if you can just put your hand on his shoulder and say, good job, I see you working hard. That's what I mean by stuff like that. Encouragement. Because women think it takes so much to keep a man. Just take peace. If you provide a man peace, everything else falls into place.
And the reason Austin made the statement that he made was we were always taught, we knew when a job was well done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't no knock to the person that needs, hey, that's a good job. We didn't get that growing up. You get what I'm saying?
We didn't get it. We didn't get it. But I tell you this, I learned this in my work as a mental health advocate. And I'm for my degree right now. One thing I learned, and through my experience as a father, men, they get that little attaboy, it makes a difference in them. See, we didn't get it coming up because our generation was different. But I make sure I do my sons like that. And there's something good that's helpful in a relationship. Because when I dated women that were like that, I liked them more. It's like, oh, she see how I'm grinding. She's saying, what's up? I see how you grinding.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even if I don't get the pat on the back, I don't care to get you don't understand what I'm grinding for and what I'm doing. Now, that's a turn off to me.
Right.
So I get what you're saying. You see, I've been up in this room either mixing or editing or doing whatever I'm doing from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. and then you get up in the morning with an attitude because I didn't hold you at 12 o'clock. But I'm in here working on something that's bringing revenue. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I get what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna do, you know what I'm saying, what we do, whether a woman or anybody acknowledge, because being big fish in a small pond or in a small tank, you run across haters. You run across people that get in a group and say, we're not going to support Fish because he's been on top too long. He's been running the city too long, so we're not going to go. You get that. And if you let that stop you or pull you down, because my motto always been one monkey ain't gonna stop no DJ Black show, and I just kept going and going and going, and the city was like, we tried to do this. Even the police was trying to stop my gig because it's like, man, you got over 1,000 people going to all your events. How are you doing this? And you making it? They trying to count my pockets, and then they trying to block events for me to rent, because they didn't want me getting all these people to come. How are you doing that? And this is the chief of police in the office talking to me like this. And everybody, and then I had a partner with me, and he like, Why they trying to count your pockets though? What does it matter if you have 1,000 people or 750 people paying $10 and $15 to get in your events? What's the problem? Right. You know what I'm saying? But when you're in a small town and you popular, you see things a little different. So you have to grind and hustle. So if I sit there and say, well, the cops trying to shut me down, and I just quit and tuck my tail between my legs and go in the house and I blah, blah, you know, my motto, and I told him, and every time I see this cop and he see me today, and he probably shit damn near 70 something now, but he said, I told him, because they had tried to shut down one spot, I got another one and I packed out, you know. Mm-hmm. And I say, it's hard to stop a train. He said, so you went on did that thing, huh? I said, yeah, it's hard to stop a train. So every time he see me when I go into the city, he'll say, it's still hard to stop that train. I say, yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you gotta have your own self-confidence, your own motivation first. Where if you get a praise or you get or whatever or not, you still able to continue to do your thing. Because I've seen people give up because they felt like they didn't have the support of their loved one, of their significant other, of their wife, of their husband, and they just gives up. No, because like you stated earlier, that person can leave you, even though you thinking forever, they can leave you the next year, the next month, the next hour.
Next day, next day.
You have to be able to keep going.
Yeah, and you got to understand, you have to develop the mentality, because they can go for a spouse, they can go for your kids. Ain't nobody promised to you. It's no such thing as loyalty. Loyalty is conditional, just like love. So I think
Ms. Doe gonna disagree with you on that one. Now.
I don't disagree.
Based on
I don't disagree.
You don't disagree?
I don't disagree. Loyalty is very much conditional. So is love. Everything pretty much is conditional. You push a person to a certain point, and you'll see just how loyal they can be, just how loving they can be, or supportive.
Somebody posted, somebody family member, I think it was either a brother or cousin or something, didn't help them do something, but they helped somebody else do it. And family is not family like it was watching mama, daddy, big mama, big daddy. Family is not the way it used to be. Now, growing up, I've seen dad work 16 hours. He was like 45 minutes away from the house, close to an hour. He would get off work, come home, you know, and worked at a meal. Good money. And he can just take his shower and lay down from working 16 hours. His sister lived almost 2 hours away. He would lay down, be asleep for about an hour and 30 minutes or an hour, 15, 20 minutes. If his sister called him and said, I have a flat on the side of the road and I don't have nobody to come and get me, I don't have no tow, this and that, he would get up off that bed and from working 16 hours and drive all the way 2 hours to help her. Right. Try that today. I just got off. Man, I just laid down. Can we do it in the morning? It's not the same.
Right.
The love and the support is not the same.
Well, I would say that depends on the person. There are so many selfish people. And sometimes I tell my kids, you have to be selfish. It's okay to be selfish.
Right.
It is okay to be selfish because if you don't take care of yourself, no one else will. Right. You can't depend on anyone to do for you what you need to do for yourself.
Right.
However, it comes to discernment. Don't ever think that because I need you now, you won't need me later.
Right.
Some things you have to take with a grain of salt, you know, and though that what you just spoke of, DJ Black, getting up in the middle of the night and getting on the road to go help somebody out, I would say that those are one of the situations that you must take with a grain of salt. Now, if I have to get up out of my bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, knowing I have to get up at 5 to go to work, and I can't call you to come do a favor for me, absolutely, I'm not getting out my bed. You can chalk that up. Call AAA. But if I can depend on you anytime I need you, that's within reason, I would say I can be that person for you as well.
Right.
If it's within reason.
Right.
Right.
But like
Because
I said,
let's be clear. Let's be clear. You go out your way for somebody one time, I got them.
There you go.
I know I can always depend on that person. They're gonna always get up every time I call, but I know I won't be able to do that for them, which goes back to you cannot make a withdrawal if you don't make a deposit.
Right. And you got to learn too in those situations. You got to learn sometimes it's okay to say no. If you get asked, it's okay to say no. No is the most protective word for ourselves because it empowers us. Sometimes you just don't feel like doing it. I just got to, I was getting calls 3 weeks ago about 3 a.m. to come getting people. And I was running myself ragged until I realized I got to say no for myself. If I don't take care of me, who else gonna do it?
And going back to women and one man for their pockets, and so here's the thing: if a woman just wants you because of the amount of money you make, or your job title, or your job, or whatever your popularity, then again, those people are missing something in their life, something that that they figure they can't have or they can't attain on their own. Now you have some women that don't want to date a person that makes less than them. So is that same or similar? Maybe they've been burned in the past, by someone that made less money than them and wanted to try to live off of them or whatever. But a person that doesn't have, and then they're out there trying to find these men that makes X amount of dollars or looking to spend X amount of dollars, and normally they have more than one because one person's just not going to satisfy them with their money because they want more of it, right? So they need multiple people with money in order to live whatever lifestyle or try to accomplish whatever they're trying to accomplish.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna ask this. Say my husband, right? We have what we have at home. Say I am what people perceive as submissive, right? I keep myself looking nice. I make sure my husband is comfortable when he gets home. He don't have to do anything. He don't have to tend to kids. All he have to do is come home and relax. Say my husband have a traveling career and he have to travel, away for a week at a time every month. I make sure everything is what it's supposed to be at home. But then when he goes to travel out of town for work, he have a whole nother family. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, trying to make sure he is comfortable and he's happy. Isn't that pretty much the same thing as a woman trying to compensate for what a man does not give her?
Wow.
I don't know if that's the same thing. It's just that that man, well, let me rephrase that. So if he's has a whole nother family somewhere else in another state doing his traveling or whatever, then it may not be that he's trying to compensate for what he's missing at home or at his first house. It may be that he's just greedy.
Right.
It may be that he's just out there and that's what he wanted to do in that situation.
I would say it
And
depends
and
on how you
even
look at it.
yeah, and then even for that woman,
Let's say how he
again,
was raised.
that can come down to greed also, because she's trying to get all that she can get.
I would say they're pretty much doing the same thing. They're not only being greedy, they're definitely being greedy, but they're trying to get what they want, trying to make something complete. And it may not even have anything to do with the other people involved. Of course, it's an internal situation. Something's wrong with that person.
Well, I mean, my question is, if you have a household here and a household there, and they're essentially the same thing, then what is it that you are trying to? What else are you trying to get? Because you have your family.
And
So
that's
one is a good cook and the other one is good in the bed. So you want your submissive wife at home, and then you want your freak down the street.
Yeah, so
I'm
that's
not a man. I
and
don't
that's
know
how
how
I
it
used
works.
to live. That's how I used to live. So I know, but at some point, I don't know, I got a heart or something because I started feeling weird. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
That was gas.
if she's the one who's making sure everything's straight, right? But I'm enjoying the turn up that's over here. I'm stress free. She's popular. Everybody see us as the best, whatever. But she's making sure everything is straight. At some point, I'll feel guilty when I come over there and she has everything laid out, the food. She just everything good, and I step over there. It's her time, and I'm gonna sit there and look at all that she's actually doing. And if she's laying everything out and I'm just partying and turning up over here, I'm gonna be like,
well,
I don't know. I think I'll probably
we've had a talk like that before. So the thing is that person that doing all this, laying out this and making sure you feel good and clipping your toenails and scrubbing your feet. And it's not that you're taking them for granted. There's still something that you're missing in that person. There's still a disconnect there. They're doing all this.
Mine used to be the disconnect was the one that did what she say, the laying out and the being there. She was the perfect wifey material. Me being DJ, club promoter, turned up, rapper, producer, I'm doing all that. And this is my turn up. You know what I'm saying? This is who go out and book my building. She
that meant that she wasn't the perfect one for you then. So that's what people are missing is
wait. So it's her fault because you're missing something within yourself.
Right.
There's nothing that she's doing wrong.
It may not be something that you're missing in yourself. It's something that you're missing in the person. That person can be doing everything.
Yeah, I mean, I was in this the same way you described that is what I was actually living for about 6 years. I'm like, this is my turn up, but this is where I have peace. And until I got more mature in mindset, and I had to decide red pill, blue pill, which one is better for you. And I actually really have to sit there and say, and that's why I chose who I'm with. Because before then, I was just with the turn.
So tell me this. So your wife now she's
Mhm.
able to do everything that she needs to do for you, but then when it's time for you to turn up, is she able to turn up with you?
Yeah,
All right, then. So that's what the missing piece
but
was.
I had to find that.
Yeah,
You
you
get what
you
I'm saying?
had to
Before I
identify
got
that,
with
but you had
her,
to
before
identify
I
that
got
in the
with
right
her,
person.
right? Before I got with her,
I'm gonna say,
she wasn't
I'll
that
say
turn.
this here. I'll
She
say
wasn't.
this. If I'm not invited to the party, I'm not gonna invite myself.
See what I'm saying? And that's how I was. That's
If
what
you
I did.
don't invite me to the party,
I didn't invite her.
I'm not gonna
You
invite
know what I'm
myself.
saying? I did not invite her to the party because to me she wasn't that turn up, and I didn't want her around when I
To
was
you,
around.
to you. But
To me,
did you communicate that to her? Hey, I want you to turn up with me. I want you to, experience this with me. If you don't like it, I understand.
right? But what I did, and you're right, and I didn't do that. But what I ended up doing, it came down to she was like, "What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? What do we have?" She was one of those people.
Yeah, so
And
he wanted a sanctified lady in a party dress.
right,
Mhm.
right. And so I looked at what I had, my turn up, and then I was like, well, this one, she can turn up because she's not a prune or nothing. She can turn up. She can book my shows and do all that. I just didn't. I think at the beginning I didn't want her in my business because I was so wrapped
Right.
up. Promoter, DJ, I had women promoting for me. That I just didn't want her in my business, so I shut her off from that. That's not for you. This is my business.
Because you wasn't ready to change to be the type of man she really needed
That
you to
she
be,
thought
or
she had.
the type of man that you should have been for her.
That she thought she had. And so when it came down to it, though, I had to choose because she was like, "It's 3, 4, 5 months into this. What are we doing?" You know what I'm saying? Because if we not finna do this, just let me go. Blah blah woo woo. And so I started thinking. My turn up turned up, but my turn up didn't make sure I had a cooked meal. My turn up turned up, but my turn up didn't make sure that my clothes were straight and hey, do you need this? Do you need that? Do you need this? And I was like, damn. And so I had to sit and decide, are you gonna go with your turn up where you having fun and y'all good for the streets? Y'all look good walking out there, walking in the club, they seeing she popular, you popular, y'all popular together. Or are you gonna be with the one who kind of set in this house? Which one is more long-term longevity? And I had to actually weigh that, and I just chose what I chose. But at first, it was like when you in that limelight and you in that nightlife, and she wasn't into the nightlife. She don't believe in going to clubs. This person in every club. You know what I'm saying? When she step
Well,
up, everybody like, oh man, you with her? Oh man, and I'm like, yeah, chest stuck out. But then, which one is gonna be long term? You know what I'm
so
saying?
so when you say it like that, when you say I chose what I chose, that
Mhm.
makes it sound like you settled.
Not really a settle. It was what's best for you.
No,
So
that's a
if
no,
you
no, no, no,
consider
no, 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 no,
what's
no.
best
So
for
you
you a
you
settle,
still not getting what you wanted. You got what was comfortable for you. Like a lot of these women, they look for the safe guy. So you went
Mhm.
with the safe bet versus what
No, not me. I weighed my options.
the safe
Wait, wait,
bet.
wait,
That's
wait,
what they
wait,
do. That's
No,
what
no,
they
no.
wait,
do.
But
wait,
They
wait,
weigh their
wait.
options.
I looked at club life, turning up, or somebody who actually, when you're a person that have options, that means you can choose which
Yeah,
one you
you
want.
can,
So
and
I
you can
had a
still
choice
settle.
to stay with the turn up or get with someone and let her in my business, and we now turn up together. It wasn't that she wasn't that turn up. I didn't want her in my business because I was turned up on another level.
Right.
So when I decided to let her in my life, I seen a different side of her. So now I'm able to still do what I do. But my thing, I think at the
Well,
beginning was I didn't want her in my business because I
well,
had
that
too
that
many women.
so that's two different things that you just put out there, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you what you decided to do was go with the safer option because you know that she would do this, this, and this, and this. But then she was able to she was able to come into your life and also accept how you are and also do the same thing or turn up the way that you needed her to turn up, that you hadn't given her the opportunity to do.
There you go. Yeah, I didn't let her in my life. Period.
Right.
Period. And we talked about that. She didn't even know my real name 3 months into the relationship because I'm secret like that. She just knew DJ Black. That's it. Because she didn't need to know my name until I got to know who she is. So I'm just secret like that. And so it took me to let her into my cipher, into my circle, into my life to turn up, to accept me for who I am. Because I was in another relationship who felt like you need to be, and I dip and dab. I'm corporate, but I still do the night thing. She wanted me to leave the night thing alone and just be this corporate guy, come home with the briefcase, blah, blah, blah. And she didn't see my DJing, promoting and all that, which was making way more money than her or my corporate job. But she just didn't want her people looking at her like, oh, he's a DJ. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. Can I interrupt? May I interrupt, please?
Yes, ma'am.
So what I'm getting from this is when women are damned if they do and damned if they don't.
So are men.
You want a woman, you want a woman to hold you down without holding you accountable. That's what I'm getting. And it really don't make sense to me, because if you can get what you want and think that's okay, because that's not settling. I mean, I'm a little confused. I'm getting mixed signals. Do you want a woman? Do you want your woman to be there, hold you down, but not hold you accountable? I mean, for her to have ambition for you to be a good man and be a great man in the corporate world, because it doesn't align with what you want. She was wrong in her position, or was she?
She was.
That's why
she was wrong in her position because she wasn't accepting him for who he was.
For who I was.
Now,
and we were, and I felt like we would have been a great.
How could she know How could she know who he was if he didn't give her that privilege? You're keeping a part of yourself away from her until you got to know the real her. No, it's not enough for me. The math ain't math.
Maybe I misunderstood somewhere in there.
Oftentimes,
These are two different women.
Right, but oftentimes in general, as men, we have trust issues, so we're not gonna open up as quick as. So it may take a while to get to know us, but
women have trust issues too.
I know. I know. I'm out here dating a lot of them. But people, and that's what I was saying earlier, people really need to kind of pump their brakes sometime and take their time and really get to know a person before you get into all the heavy stuff. That's why I think a lot of relationships mess up. They rush in, come in too long, come in with too much purpose, looking for a husband. Now just look for a friend right now. Get to know that person. That may not be special material for you. It might be somebody, they may just be a friend. But don't come in, because I noticed this in my dating. Women come in automatically thinking about marriage, but when we get a house, I'm like, wait, I just met you. Slow down. You don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about you. This vibe, get to know each other. Let's build something real. With all this dating with purpose, I must have a husband. Slow down with that. We putting too much pressure on ourselves, especially women. Y'all put way too much pressure on y'all.
And then and Miss Zoe, you the scenario you gave with the woman laying everything out, and then the guy got a whole nother family. But like I used to say on the podcast all the time, women and men both do what you allow them to.
Right.
So, and especially now, life is too short Time waits for no one. You wake up today, it's 8 o'clock. Before you know it, it's noon. Before you know it, it's 4 o'clock. Before you know it, it's 8. Time is like that now. So if you're in a situation where you're not feeling appreciated as a person, especially going out your way, doing without to make sure that person is happy, and they still want or choose to share with another person, at that point, it's time for me to cut something off. And like I say so many times on this podcast, if I have to go in the bathroom every morning when I get up and cry for an hour just to start my day to get over somebody or to leave them alone, that's what I'm going to do, because time is too precious. And I know what I bring to the table. And I'm not going to, it's a person out there who could appreciate what I bring to the table. And I know this.
Now, going back, so you do have to allow a person to know who you are, but they don't have to know everything about you. There's a difference. So you don't have to give them all of your information up front, but you do have to let them know some intricate parts about you, because they have to identify if you're the person for them, like you're trying to identify if they're the person for you. So of course, within that 3 to 6 month period, both of you all have on these masks that you're wearing, which is the best side of you, right? But still, you have to let that person know, yeah, these are the things that I'm into. These are the things that I like to do. These are the things that motivate me. These are the things that encourage me. Yeah. Because that person may not be able to do those things or be that person that you need or want them to be. So there has to be some part of you that allows them in to see that, but you don't have to give them everything up front, because trust is earned and not just given.
Right.
Absolutely.
And if you wake up every day, Zoe, thinking about, I'm doing this and I'm not being appreciated, with that scenario you gave, that's when you make up your mind, you're bigger than that, you're greater than that, and it's gonna be a man out there who actually appreciates what you bring to the table, what you do. Because I'm a firm believer in get out of it if it's not for you. I'm a firm believer in that. And I've left several relationships and I've came back super strong every time I leave a relationship. Yeah. So I'd be like sitting back and like I say, I walk by faith. So if something was to happen with what I'm in now, every relationship in the last 4 relationships that I've been in, every time I get out of them, I elevate more and more and I gain more and more. That's why I say I'm anointed and I walk by faith. So if something happens and I'm comfortable, and I'm very, very comfortable and happy in what I'm in, but if something was to happen and we break up, I'm like, God, what else you have for me? I'm good. You got some more? You ready to give me some more blessings? Bring them on. So I don't look at it as a loss. I look at it as what I'm getting ready to gain. Okay, God, you know what's next. The creator know what's next. I'm ready. Okay, so that didn't work out. Good. I'm gonna support. I'm gonna do whatever, whatever it takes. I'm gonna help her get on her feet, get on, because I'm waiting on what you got for me next. And that's my view on that.
Well, my thing is, in this relationship, if something happened between my wife and I, then I am gonna look at it as a loss. But I'm not going to be at a point where I'm dead with that relationship, right? Because I don't die with anything. The only thing that's gonna make me die is when God comes and God takes my life, right? So I'm not just gonna lay down and be like, that's the end for me.
Right.
Because I know that I'm on my feet. I'm gonna stay on my feet. I'm not gonna allow anyone to break me or to cause me to be broken. Because I know my worth and I know who I am.
Especially if you weren't the blame, if you weren't the reason that it split up. So that also comes with that. So I'm gonna make sure that when I say that, I say that meaning that I'm not the reason. I've done everything that I can do to make that relationship what it do. Just like in her scenario, that person was doing everything they needed to do to show that they wife material, to show that they care for you, to show that they love you, and that person still went off and had a whole nother family and go outside.
Because I can tell you from experience, like I said, married 16 years, engaged 4, you could be doing everything that you can possibly do and still not work out. Because you're dealing with an external person. You cannot control them, their feelings, how they feel, who they talk with, or nothing. So you never know what could happen. But
that's deep, Austin. I got to give it to him. That's some deep shit that he's saying. I never experienced that with nobody serious that I was talking to, but I have talked to people that has went through that. But I guess I get out of things before when I notice a sign. I'm so protective of my heart, so I get out of things when it starts going south, so it never ends up.
But you know what though? I was the inverse of it. Remember how I was when I first came to the show? I was all emotional and dealt and believed in love. I don't believe in that stuff anymore. I'm a lot more cynical and I protect my heart. I'm not for getting married. Getting married, I'm not interested in it.
Now you're a man scorned, but
in a way, yeah. In a way, you know what?
I know that's what I'm saying.
Right, but absolutely right. But here's the thing: me being scorned is gonna protect me because I'm not gonna let myself be taken advantage of again.
Yeah, but you can.
I want Ms. Zoe to comment on that one though.
You can let yourself be vulnerable and not allow yourself to be hurt and have those past issues take control of you.
Well, I haven't made it.
You know how to protect yourself, George, but you don't have to put such a stone wall around your heart that it causes you to miss out on some things that may be good.
But I had a stone wall on mine forever, Austin, and you know that.
I know.
And I think it's because of us talking and you constantly still moving on and getting engaged and all that was the only reason I even kind of gave mine a chance. Because I used to call you with she did, she that, she's cool, blah blah. But and it was you need encouraging people, George, but because I was like that and I'm just newly getting over that. Relationships, like you say, I was saying the same thing. It's not for everybody. I wanted a revolving door. I wanted to have me 3 dedicated women that fit the physique and everything that I like. And it was a revolving door until I met one that fits everything. But at first, the marriage stuff, it wasn't me. And I talked to the wife about that. I wasn't trying to get married. I wanted to have me a nice house with a porch, a shotgun, and a dog named Blue. And we sit out on the porch, and that's what we do with my son that I wanted for. And I chill.
The thing is, I did the marriage thing. I did the stepfather thing. And part of it is honestly me being scorned. Part of it too, I got it out my system. It's not all it's cracked up to be to me. I don't need it. I don't want it.
That's because you were with the wrong person. Let me say it like this. I have been everything to some women, and they haven't been anything to me.
Right.
And so I had to find the one that was everything to me. And I was everything to her for the relationship to be perfect. And it took me forever to do that, right? I've been through relationship, hurt this person, hurt that person. I left a trail of chaos and carnage behind me, right? Because I did not value the women that I was dealing with. And some of them may not have valued me that much. So our values never meshed, but I had to find the person that valued me just as much as I valued them at the same time that we were valuing each other, if that makes sense. We met at the perfect time where they were in their life and I was in my life. And that is the reason that we have the relationship that we have now. If I dated her 17, 18 years ago, we were not the same people that we are today.
True.
She had to go through some stuff. I had to go through some stuff because I may have messed that all up during the time that we were dating before.
Right.
So sometimes it's just not the right time.
Right, and sometimes, and sometimes too, that's just not your thing, and I don't think it's my thing. I got other things to focus on instead of a relationship. I got school, I got my career. I'm just not there. I'm not there emotionally. I can't be, and that's okay because
that's
no
fine
matter
for
what
right
I
now.
deal with, yeah, she's gonna get treated with respect. She's gonna get treated with loyalty. She's gonna get treated right. But as far as doing a committed relationship, doing a marriage, I ain't doing it. I'm sorry. I lost enough money. I don't need to lose no more. I'm good.
Well, again, when you find when the right person falls in your lap, not at the strip club, but when the right person falls in your lap, then then you'll change your tune. Because I had got to a point where I was like, man, I'm just gonna buy me a condo downtown. I'm gonna have my 2-seater sports car, and I'm good. Now I'm married with a baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
you go through that. You're gonna go through that, George. And like I said,
But
I'm
see,
fresh
here's the
coming
thing.
out of it.
My kid's grown. My kid's grown now. So I'm not in that mindset anymore. You know, I got kids in college. I'm not thinking about settling down with, you know, when I'm just not thinking it. It's just, you know, you just gotta
that's
understand
okay.
something.
That's okay.
George
for
ready
right
to
now.
turn up.
You gotta understand
Turn
something.
up time. Wait, what city you in, George?
Dallas.
He
Hey,
out here with me.
you out there with Austin. When I come down that way, we gonna turn up. You know what I'm saying? We're ready to turn up.
We're gonna do a 2 married man and a single man turn up. What that look like?
See, we gonna turn up all the way up. Then we gonna go to Houston and turn up.
Hey, I'm supposed to be speaking in Houston anyway, so that'll work.
But yeah,
I don't want to think anybody think I'm up here just saying by humbug to relationships. I'm saying just your experience is what dictates who you are. We all have commonalities and things that unite us, but my experiences just led me down a certain path that's different and divergent from other people, and that's okay. As long as I'm okay with it, as long as I value myself, I'm all right. I don't need a relationship. I don't want to have that kind of. I'm good like I am. I've done all.
What do you think about that, Ms. Zoe? Him being good the way he is.
Sound like a defense mechanism to me.
What do you think, Ms. Zoe?
You know, if George is not in the right place to be in the type of relationship that a respectable woman would want to be in, I say he's making the right decision for the both of them. If he can't give everything that he needs to give to that woman, the things that she'll give to him, he's right. You're right, George.
George,
It wouldn't be fair to me or that woman right now.
Yeah, just go find you a hoe and be a hoe, and then just be hoeing and just
because in Houston, my brother knows some people, know a female you can hit up. I think it's like a bill.
I ain't hitting up nobody, but it's the funny thing. I ain't hitting up nobody. I'm just doing me. I ain't hitting up nobody. I ain't living like that. I'm just doing my school, doing my work, raising my kids. I'm all right with it. Because why get into a relationship when I can't be emotionally available right now? I can't be vulnerable to anybody.
And that is good that you're able to identify that.
Right.
But whenever the time comes, just don't harden your heart. Allow yourself to let someone in, even if it's just brick by brick. You know what I'm saying? When the time comes.
I don't think nobody who was more bitter than me, because what you're saying was a motto and a law that I live by. And I was like, if you go back and watch early podcasts, all I talk about is I had an ice box where my heart used to be. I had everything built up. Every woman I would meet would say, you know everything about me, I know nothing about you. You're not emotional. I don't feel anything, because I didn't let nobody in my heart, because that first heartache, you don't want to experience again.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of heartache. So I just didn't let no woman in my life. I know how to play the role of a good person. But as far as running through the tulips and the daisies and slow motion with the willows and all that, I can't do that. I didn't do that. that wasn't a thing that I did because I don't want to be hurt.
I guess the point is I don't see the value in a relationship at this point in my life right now.
At this
And
point
you
in your
know,
life,
there are women out there that it the way you do, George.
Yeah. They don't mean I don't value the woman. They don't mean I don't value women. But right now, with where I am and what I've been through and what I got to accomplish, the things I got ahead of me, a relationship
The
does not
woman
make
only hinders you, right?
I ain't gonna say a woman will hinder me, but if I'm trying to navigate a relationship with my personal life, I have to fit to that woman. You're not gonna get all of me.
yeah, because it's hard. I understand what you're saying. It's hard to do what you're trying to do and nurture a relationship because you have to nurture a relationship. And if you're not emotionally, if you're not available, not even emotionally available, if you're not available to nurture that relationship, to water it, put it out in the sun, and do those things to help it grow, then it's gonna die. So what you're saying is you rather just go ahead and grow yourself at this point and do the things that you need to do. And then after you achieve whatever you need to achieve, if you're in a place where a relationship comes along or you feel like a relationship, then you may allow it to happen at that time.
Perhaps.
That's what I'm
Perhaps.
saying.
Like
Perhaps.
he didn't have a bad experience. That bastard said perhaps.
I
Hold up.
believe a man can love a woman unconditionally, but I don't think a woman can love a man unconditionally.
What? Really?
Yeah.
I beg to differ. I think it's the other way around.
No.
I think a woman can love a man unconditionally, and
Not
most men
not forever.
So
And
it's
I'm
not
gonna
a
say
forever
this
thing.
again. I'm gonna say this again. There is no such thing as unconditional love.
Nope.
No such thing as unconditional love because there are some non-negotiables in your life that you will deal with. I mean, that you have, that things that you won't deal with. So that means that eventually that love is going to be removed if those things that are non-negotiables happen.
Let me ask you guys, what does unconditional love look like?
I don't know because I don't think it exists.
I don't know either. I wrote about that in my book I'm writing. There's no such thing as unconditional love, not even between parents and children. No such thing.
Uh-oh. So what do you think?
I'll say the hardships I've had with my husband, I still love him. We still together. He's mine. hmm That's why I ask, what does that look like for you all? I mean, does that include get back? Does that include petty disagreements or petty behavior?
And that's what I want
What
to
does
ask
that
you.
look like?
That's what I want to ask you. And remember, I told you at the beginning, I said, I got questions too. All right, TK Soul said, in order for a relationship to last 20 years or whatever, he asked his lady, how did they live, to be married that long? And she said, you have to cheat. Not trying to put nothing out there. And just going off of the question you just asked, with the get back and stuff, 20 years, is it get back or do you be at a place where you guys can talk things out? I mean, how does that go? How do you get there? Because I know it's a struggle.
Well, I'm Petty Betty White Jr. Okay. So the reason I said anything you can do, I can do better. Sometimes you just have to show people, like Kendrick Lamar said. You got to pop out and show them.
Right. Okay.
You got to pop out and show them. Because I feel that some people, they don't learn unless they're being put in that particular position.
And I don't want to agree with you, but a lot of people don't understand the shoe on the other foot thing. They don't understand it.
I believe in pop out and leave your ass. That's what I believe in. Because I don't
And
have
that's
time to
okay
be
too.
going back and forth. Yeah, I don't have time to go back and forth. I don't have time for all them
But that's not
games.
fair, Austin. That's not fair. How could you cheat on me and not know what it feels like to be cheated on, dear?
Uh,
Why would no? I'm saying as far as a woman, and then men too. I'm more like him because I'm not gonna just go and give myself to somebody because women get attached a lot, and and you have to. I have to try to be lousy and not for them not to even be into me like that. So I don't like playing with emotions anymore. And so before I think this person is doing that, so I'm gonna go and mess with this person. Before I do that, I'd rather just get out the relationship. Well, you did what you did, and I'm out. You know what I'm saying? That I don't believe in playing games anymore. You know what I'm saying?
if
Now
I
maybe
have
if I would have done
I
that in
agree.
high school, early college, maybe. But when you're 35 plus, and then I'm gonna go and mess with Jane because you messed with Johnny. I don't, I don't want that emotion. And then when they
if
call me, I feel weird
if I
because I
have
was
to
feeling
cheat
some
in a
type of way when I
relationship,
laid with them. And now when they call me, hey, what's up? You coming by today? And I'm like, that was just a one night. I was angry type. So I don't do that.
if I
That
have to cheat in a relationship, then I do not need the relationship
I
because
agree with that also.
because if I'm out there looking at something else, then I don't have what I want at home, right?
right.
Okay, so all right, so I'm about to tell y'all a story about a best friend of mine, girl. If you see this, don't be mad with me. You know who you are. Okay, in a relationship with a guy, and he was a chronic cheater, but he was so narcissistic that when she tried to walk away, he would not let her go. I mean, putting on an Oscar worthy performance, crying, I'm going to kill myself. I love you so much. You know, all the things. And she stayed, you know, they stayed together, had kids, and is still together now. I
But
would assume things got better because they're still together. But she had to show a boy like, hey, you know, you did this. I tried to leave you. You won't let me leave. So these are the conditions. This is what you started. I'm going to finish.
So
And
so that things get better, or did he just get better at hiding what he was doing?
I can't
See,
say. I don't
exactly,
know. You have a good point.
exactly, exactly.
I told a story on here similar to that with a guy named damn, I'm gonna throw names up there. Okay. With this couple that I knew, and she caught him cheating at the hotel with a female. They got kids together, they living together, they're a popular couple, everybody know them. He got caught at the hotel. Somebody called, you got haters. Somebody called and said, hey, you need to go check your man, his car at the hotel, and he with whoever. So she got up, she went riding. They got like 3 kids together. She went riding, she seen his car at the hotel. She didn't know what room, but she was beating on all the doors. It was a big scene. Okay. So she left him. It's over. Okay. So they stayed apart for about 3 months. She made him move out, whatever. I'm gonna say 3 to 6 months. So they was apart for a while. I'm gonna say 6 months. Okay. So he decided he wanted his family back. So he came to her and he was like, I want my family back. I'm sorry, I messed up. I'll never do it again. Whoop, whoop, yada, yada. She told him because she had started seeing somebody else. She told him that I'm gonna take you back because I love you and we have these kids. And you know, and you still have my heart, regardless of what we're going through. You still have my heart. She said, but it won't be the same. He said, okay. He left his parents' place, moved back in, and boom, they living. But she still was seeing the other guy every now and then. And he chose to put up with that for a while. I think he finally shut it down, but he put up with it because he felt guilty for what he did, you know, and she really wasn't telling him all the stuff that they was doing. He just knew the guy was calling, and he knew that every now and then she would answer her phone when she was out. So he didn't really know what was really going on, but he chose to stay in that, knowing that it wouldn't be the same. And so I respect her because she told him, I'm going to take you back because I love you and we had these kids and I do miss you, but it would not be the same. And they still live together today.
And that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It is.
Number one, I'm not going to take you back because every time I touch you, I'm gonna have the image of somebody else.
That's a man. That's us. Yeah. This is a woman.
Sweating out your edges. I'm just saying. But he has to deal with that of somebody else touching his woman. And now, if he's okay with that,
yeah.
Hey,
and I think the only reason he's halfway okay with it is because he know what he did. He got caught. So a lot of people stay in relationships and go through that hell because they got caught.
I pay child support.
Yeah.
3 kids.
We're not gonna be together. I don't care.
It don't mean nothing. You got kids. That don't mean nothing.
And it goes down.
But that's me. Anyway. I agree with the Austin, Miss. I agree with what he's saying.
This is what
I couldn't be in.
This is what us women have to deal with.
But
it's okay for you guys to go out there and do whatever you all want to do, but when it's time for that get back, it's time to break up.
We don't believe in that get back. I don't care what y'all saying.
You have a choice.
Hey, didn't you say earlier what's good for the goose is what's good for the gander?
Yeah, it's good for the gander.
That earlier, right?
Hey, that gander turn around and be turkey
on
Thanksgiving dinner.
With the gander.
Yeah, I ain't trying to do all that. I'd rather be alone than live in that type of relationship.
My thing is, if you don't want to be that vulnerable dude who gets his heart ripped from his chest, why do it to someone else?
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. But if you do it, then and that person takes you back, then that's on them.
Yeah, y'all being foolish. Yeah, y'all are being very foolish. Absolutely.
Yeah. So whether it's a man that cheated or a woman that cheated, and if you take that person back in your life, you're saying, I am accepting everything that you did. So therefore, there is no get back. There is no.
Well, maybe I want to love that man unconditionally.
I can't say that.
No,
because and there have been some cases where this dude was a habitual cheater and the wife remained faithful until his death. Right? Now, does that mean that she was bound by her love for him and she was really religious, or does it mean that she was bound by that teaching that out of the Bible? Yeah, right. her duty and obligations.
Right.
So you have to. So it may not be love unconditional. It may be I don't want to. This is all I know. It may be I don't want to get out there and try it again. It may be I don't want to struggle. So
right.
You have to start looking at all of those things. Love may not have anything to do with it.
True. And it seems like sometimes the longer the marriage goes on, or the longer relationship, if it's not based on something healthy, then the love will dissipate from it.
Yeah. So everything that you see ain't love, and everything that looks like forgiveness ain't forgiveness. It's I'm dealing with you and I'm tolerating you.
Yeah, and plus, you know, you always got to keep in mind when you enter into a relationship, you're dealing with that person's trauma and experiences too, and that's always going to complicate things because you may be a perfectly happy, self-sufficient person, but the person you're attracted to still got trauma they hadn't dealt with. You can't expect to have anything really healthy.
I want to know this, okay? I want to know this. Okay, the person who do the get backs and the
what you get out of it?
That, and what if that person pleased you more than what's being pleased at home?
Then you keep getting back. You keep getting back, arching your back. I mean, getting
that's
back.
What, that's the part that gets me. I'll be wondering what happened when you do that. You know what I'm saying? And
you just create a vicious cycle.
And I lose feelings. You know, I'm a Gemini, and you got to keep me entertained. And if I mess around and dip off over there and catch more fish over there than what I'm catching over here, I'm gonna feel some type of way. So I don't put myself in those situations. I learn to not put myself in situations where I can be tempted by temptation.
Right.
Well, you know, there's always temptation out there. It's how you react to the temptation.
Yeah, it's how you act, but I'm not going to throw myself in those situations either.
Sometimes you don't have to throw yourself in a situation. The situation throws itself at you.
Yeah,
and you should know that. You should know that. You should know that by being a DJ.
Put myself in a situation.
You put yourself in that situation all the time. When you DJing, when you go into the gym, when you go into the grocery store, you put yourself in that situation all the time because you cannot.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's different because when I say I'm not gonna put myself in it, though I'm at these places, I'm not gonna put myself in a position where I'm saying.
What you're saying is you're not going to indulge in it.
I'm not gonna indulge in it. I'm not gonna say, "Hey, you look nice today," or "Hey, let me help you with this." That ain't none of my business when I'm out there.
So
you know what I'm saying? She's struggling and about to fall over with a weight. It ain't my responsibility, you know what I'm saying, to aid her. Let me show you how to the perfect technique to do this. They got trainers for that. Now the old me, that was my thing.
You know, it's nothing to help somebody, right?
Yeah.
Nothing to help somebody.
But I'm not gonna help nobody I like. If it's somebody who's
I don't care.
There's
nobody that I'm going to like more than I like my wife. So I can help you, I can talk to you, and I still don't have that temptation because I love what I got at home. I like
and that's
and
what
love
wanted to do
what I got at home.
That's why I wanted to do the podcast on the reason I think people cheat and do what they do is because they didn't choose the mate that they like. They settled. They didn't choose. If she liked a dark-skinned man that's muscular, and she with a little light-skinned dude that's puny, and she didn't choose what she wanted. Right. And that's why people cheat. Because what stops me when the temptation is because I got what I want.
Right.
So if I see something and everybody, oh, you gonna look, yeah, but I got that at home, so I ain't gotta look. Right. I don't get nothing out of look.
You know, the only way a person's not gonna see anything is if you're blind, right? But it
they say love is blind. They say love is blind too. Now, don't forget that. Now, love is blind.
No, they say love is blind because they say you accept a lot of stuff and you're naive to a lot of stuff when you allow love in your life. But but my thing is, even if I did see someone, I don't see them in the way of being I'm attracted to them sexually or wanting.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, I see people all the time.
I learned to see and not see.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, just because
it took me a while to grow to that. You know what I'm saying? Really, real nigga shit. It took me a minute. Because I was used to, and Austin and I, we were used to seeing, and we gotta say something. We gotta say something. If she stood out in the room, if it's nothing but I walk way over here just to let you know that you the the most beautifulest thing I've seen in the room this evening. And if you do have someone, a significant other, I mean, that's a very lucky man, and woo woo yada yada, and then ease on. Only reason I just need to know your name because you stood out in here tonight, blah blah blah. You gotta say something. But when you get on a more mature level and you find your person, you see and don't see. And I never thought I would be in a position to see and not see, because I never took relationships serious. And it was always what's next.
Yep. I always felt that I needed to touch everything that I wanted.
Yeah. In some shape, form, or fashion. And so when you get to that level, it's like when you find it's when you find your person. Right. Until then, George and Miss Zoe, until you find your person, and I was out there, I was down. You know how they say down bad? I was down bad. Until you find your person, because I never thought I hear people saying that stuff, and I was like, man, whatever. He'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got a price. I put the right female in his face. He gonna do this and that. I got the perfect one for him. I'm Mr. Temptation. I'm Satan. You know what I'm saying? But when you meet your person, make sure you're with who you like. Get the skin color you like. Get the physique you like. Get everything that you kind of like as much as you can in that one person. So when you do see this, or you do be around that, and this person do come on to you, you got what you satisfied with at home, whether it's intellectual, whether it's whatever, you have what you want at the crib. Stop getting with these people on the, well, we've been knowing each other this long. Well, we got these kids together. Well, we got this car note together. We got this house note together. Damn all that. Get that person that you are 80% satisfied with. And that would stop the cheating. Because I wanted to do a podcast on why do people cheat? You know what I'm saying? It'll be less cheating if people didn't settle and they chose who they really want to be with. If you want someone that favor Denzel, you want somebody that look like Lisa Ray, Megan Thee Stallion, whatever you kind of like, kind of find that in that person, and that eliminates the cheating. But if you know you want a buff man that's dark skinned, and you with a little old skinny 185 pounds light skinned brother, and every time you see the guys on Family Business take his shirt off, and you sitting there like, oh my God, you staring at the TV, then you should have got with that. If you got to go sit up at the strip club and look at all the women that look like this, that you got to fantasize with, or that everybody in the club messing with, then that's not what you wanted.
That's right.
People need to start getting who they want. And I know that's a broad statement because a lot of people are afraid to step up and say what they say to different people. But, you gotta pick who you want. And it'll be less get backs. It'll be less, I'm going to show you. It's just a lot less if you can find the person you want.
Right. I'm just not into toxic relationships anymore. I've been through toxic relationships, and I'm at a point in my life where peace is more important to me than anything. So I don't have time for the get back. I don't have time for the back and forth. I just don't.
Yeah. And I'm sort of at a point, my peace and ambition is more important than a relationship right now. So, I mean, I got to pick myself, and that's what a lot of people need to realize, instead of going through all these troubles with relationships, maybe you just need to pull back for a while. Do you?
Yeah, that's true. I can understand that, Omarion. But, yeah. So, looks like this, we're getting ready to wind down here.
Yeah, close out. Hold on.
For a woman to love a man unconditionally, the answer is no. A woman only loves you on the condition that you are able to provide, protect, and lead. A woman's love is naturally wired to come with conditions, and their conditions will range from simple things to complex things. They can love you for the way you provide. They can love you for the way you lead. Some will actually love you when you have nothing because of the potential they see in you, and she believes that tomorrow you're going to be a great man, so she loves you because of that. And they will place these conditions according to what's important to them. If a woman feels that money is the most important thing on her list, and that's why she's with you, the moment that the money is no longer there, she will leave because she's not your mother. It is only the woman that gave birth to you that is capable of loving you unconditionally. Even if a woman will claim to love a man unconditionally, it is not forever. It is for the season that you're still providing something. Once that season is over, she doesn't love you anymore.
That's true.
And he said a whole bunch. What you think, George?
I think he's right.
What you think, Austin?
Again, I mean that's basically what we've been saying all night. You know, a person's going to love you according to their needs.
And Ms. Doe, that goes back to the extravagant dinners. These days, and like I say, you kind of different, but these days women will step out there. They don't want to go to Cheesecake Factory. They don't want to go here. You got to take them there, and these on dates. So that's why I don't entertain that. We're gonna chill, and I got me somebody, like I say, her sister worked at a goddamn McDonald's, and I don't even eat Mickey D's like talking about. But I think I got a fish sandwich or something. She was like, "What y'all want me to bring out there?" And this was like the second or third week we were talking, and I picked her up, and she said, "Let's go by here," and it was her idea to go by McDonald's. And we got a fillet of fish, and I think she got a chicken sandwich. She got a chicken sandwich. But yeah, I don't believe in that. And now, you know, we go all downtown, ATL, going to Cardi Red's place and all these places, spending this and that. But you know, it didn't open up doing that. I was like, you're gonna like me for me. So that unconditional love stuff, women using guys for need, that is serious out here. That's serious. Right. And we going through it.
You can make nothing, and I could make all the finances for a house. But if you're loyal to me, I'll stay.
Okay, let me whoa. Let me rewind because I might have misheard. You said that if you're dating a man and he's making no money at all, that you would stay dating him as long as he's loyal.
I could, because guess what? There are men out here who make so much money, but they're fucking trash. True. And I've ran into it. True. So why would I not take the lesser amount with someone who values and respects me over a dude who's making all this money and wants to throw these things in my face? Bitch, I could buy this shit myself. I don't need that. I could do it myself.
So you're saying you're willing to take care of a man is what you're saying?
I have. But guess what? I also have with the intentions of knowing that the man I want is trying to aspire to be better.
And now in that situation, I always tell brothers, don't date on potential, because that potential can go south. And you done wasted a whole bunch of time just because they in law school or they in medical school, and then they don't finish. And you done wasted your time trying to be with somebody who you think gonna make some money, and it don't work. I got a problem with that now.
Maybe she just wanted him to go south. But anyway, so her purpose is she wanted somebody that gave her loyalty and love, right? If she's making all the money. So again, that just goes to show you women date or find who they want to find based on their needs. So her need was for love and loyalty.
You ever tried to build with a broke man that was trying to get his life together? And have you ever sat back and looked at how you were treated, how you were talked to?
That
because
part right
that man
there.
felt like he didn't have it or he was less than, even though you tried to pour into that man.
So
no, honey, you're not this
it
and that.
happens to the man internally.
That's what's
where
always.
Next thing you know, he becomes
emotionally unavailable. It's not just money. It's a lot deeper than that. It's how you act when you don't have money.
Yeah.
And then they say, okay, well, if you do have money, how are you spending that money? There's a lot of men that have money. I was in a relationship with with a man who had money who wanted to spend his money outside of the damn household. You're not putting the money into the household. So
was that a coping mechanism?
It's not just you having money. It's a lot more that goes into it.
I think part of the issue too, when it comes to the conversation about men and women and finances, is it's not that we're saying that money is completely alleviated and not important. It's not that we're saying that. I think part of the issue is these dudes come out the gate leading with money and then get upset when they can no longer provide that.
And so, Miss Zoe, that was my thing. I don't jump out leading with money. I don't do that, because anything can happen and you're not able to provide the way you once was. So if you jump out there doing everything at the beginning and then something happened, especially in today's times, you can lose jobs, you can lose whatever. So I just feel like you shouldn't jump out there being wild at earth, because anything can happen. And so I'm not going to date or be with nobody who's expecting that, who's looking for that 24/7, you know?
I think that applies to guys who have it. I'll say that. A lot of guys, they'll lead a conversation talking about their bank account.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the guy that's insecure within himself.
Right.
Majority of the guys who have to have a big expensive vehicle and all that, and that's all he talk about, who talks about his bank account, he's lacking in an area, whether it's self-confidence, a lot of times they are, because when you're confident in that area, you don't brag on it. Because and I'm well-rounded, and I don't brag on things. I just chill. And if you have to brag about it, it must not be all that. A good attorney told me that when you're watching the attorneys who's got all these tons of radio ads and video ads, they're advertising because no one's, not too many people are giving it to them. The best attorneys are the ones you don't hear about.
Right.
So if I have to brag about how much money I got and throw this and be on Instagram flashing dollars, my esteem is hurting somewhere. We have a new guest on the panel, Brianna, and
hi.
Hello. I want to welcome you to the panel. We have George and Miss Zoe. Miss Zoe stirring up the pot this evening. Austin just left, but we just in here shooting the breeze, getting our little therapy session on tonight. And tell us about yourself.
My name is Brianna. I'm 32. I have 2 sons. I'm from Atlanta, but now I reside in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Okay, I'm familiar with both of those. I'm in Georgia, and I actually got married in Biloxi.
Okay.
On the beach. So yeah.
It's pretty cool out here. It's real slow. It's not the city.
Right.
Yeah, cause we was looking for some strip joints, and I think they told us to go to Alabama somewhere. Cause it was near there. It wasn't, so yeah. So the topic tonight, we just was up here chopping it up and about men and women. Do the women just look at men for date men for what they can provide? You know what I'm saying? Chris Rock made the statement that men can't be loved unconditional. They're loved on what they can provide. And so we were just asking that question, how true of a statement is that? Because my thing is, so many of the brothers that's single ran behind that post as a reason why they're not dating. And I just think they're afraid to step to the modern day woman. And that's why they ran behind. Couldn't wait till he said that statement. So that's, I don't date because women only date you for what you can do for them. So how true you think that is?
I disagree to a certain extent. For me, I've always been a worker. So I can pretty much provide for myself, but I do feel like if I need my partner to support me, wherever I may fall short. I want to be able to rely on them to help, but I'm not coming in a relationship thinking like, oh, what he can do for me. Like, if I genuinely like you, I like you for you.
That's what I'm saying. So how do you feel about first date and he take you to Coney Island, or y'all get the 2 for $40 at Chili's or Logan's or something? Would that be a problem? Because it was trending that Cheesecake Factory, Outback, and all those places are unsuitable to take a date, a woman that you just met on a date. So if he didn't take you to an extravagant 5-star, Ruth Chris Plus, would that be a problem?
No, not for me. Like, it's the fact that we're spending quality time. I'm not putting a price on the meal.
Right.
Is she scripting, George, or is she?
No, I'm serious. I'm not putting a price on the meal because I've been in that situation. I mean, I've had someone to take me to a nice, expensive restaurant, and I've had somebody to take me to one that did, like you said, like maybe a Chili's or some Applebee's. And I mean, I still felt the same way. If you like them, you like them. It doesn't matter where they
okay.
take.
Now that makes sense. What do you think about that, Ms. Zoe? As far as an investment? Because Ms. Zoe say you should invest, and she thinks going to an expensive restaurant is you investing in someone you just met.
But here's the thing.
I have to research my investments. I'll play the stock market.
Spending that money on an expensive dinner is not the investment. It's the time and energy you put in this time with that person.
Exactly.
And getting to know them and being around them. It's not about the money. There are more important investments than just money and producing everything. So what about time, getting to know that person?
Because you can't get your time back.
Can't get the time back. I'd rather have a good time at McDonald's than a bad time at an expensive restaurant.
Same.
Yeah. So
right, because you cannot coexist around you when we're out eating. Like, I'm definitely not putting the price, because again, you're looking at the wrong thing. The focus is not how expensive of a meal you can get me. Like, I'm not looking at that. Like I said, like, when I'm coming into a relationship, I have my own, you have yours. So if I fall, and I feel like I don't want to date, I don't feel like people should date if they can't afford. Like, I mean, I know like life happens. Like, let's say we come into a relationship and we both have our own, whatever going on. And then, I know this is how my partner or my person works. And then something happens and I have to kind of like pick up that slack or help him, or vice versa. Like, if he needs me, I want to be able to support him and vice versa. But I'm not going to put a price on a meal for sure. I think that's wrong.
Yeah, and I think a good way to look at it too is when you with somebody, you want to be able to catch them, but you don't want to have to carry them.
Right.
That's a good one. George studied that. That was a.
No, I did. Just came to mind. I catch you, but I can't carry you.
Well said. Well said.
And when I first heard Chris Rock saying that, that men, are judged based on what they can bring. Hold on a moment.
Only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. Women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is only loved under the condition that he provides something. Okay? I've never heard a woman in my life say, after he got laid off, we got so much closer. No. I once heard my grandmother say, a broke man is like a broke hand. Can't do nothing with it. What kind of gangster shit is that? That's right. Women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is only loved under the condition that he provides something. That's right. Fellas.
So when I first heard that, like I say, when you come from watching your fathers, uncles, grandfathers, it's natural that you're on, you're there to provide. That's the common thing. So when he said that, and then the guys was like, yeah, you got to bring something, you got to have something. Well, if you considered a man, you kind of, you know what I'm saying? If you grew up watching your father handle everything, watching your grandfathers, your uncles, your older brothers, you kind of know that you're not going to just have nothing and try to be in a serious relationship. So when they say, oh, just like the guys who didn't get much in high school are not getting nothing now, they say if you put gas in your car to go pick a female up, you paid for it. If you take her to a restaurant, you paid for it. My thing paying for is the older cats that have to pay before they late, the sugar daddies, But you get those brothers who not getting women on a regular that say if you take a woman out on a date out to eat, you're paying for it. Then you have, like Ms. Zoe said, you have people that say it ain't tricking if you got it. But if you paying a woman to be with you and she don't want to be with you, to me, that's tricking anyway, whether you have it or not. So I just see things, you know what I'm saying, a little different. I see a little different.
Can I stir the pot up a little bit more?
Stir it up a
Since
little bit
I'm whipping pots already. All right, so you're in a friendship with a guy and he asked you to drop him off by his, his girl. You had to spend gas money for that. Your homeboy didn't give you gas money for that. Would you expect something from your homeboy? I'm just trying to figure out.
And I'll say that too, because my thing was, whenever I'm getting ready to bring a show or something, me and the fellas meet up. I buy their meals. Sometimes it's my turn to buy the meals. And if I'm just hanging with some partners, let's say 2 or 3 of us riding around, we went and took care of something, and then I want to go and eat at a Chili's or something, or a sports bar, or TGI Fridays, and that's what I got the taste for. And I'm gonna go there and I got the tab. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. That don't mean I want them. And that's what I was saying to these guys. They was like, yeah, but if you put gas in your car and you took her out to eat. No, I took it out to eat. We ate because I was gonna eat anyway, but it's a mutual place where we could meet, conversate without distractions.
But you know
what? I'm not at my crib, she's not at her crib, so ain't nobody knocking on my door. So that's just a mutual place to meet. That don't mean I'm trying to hit. A person like me who not running behind sex, I can sit and conversate with several women over dinner just to get to know them, because I know who I am, where I'm going, what I'm about. I love myself. So it's like I'm not just out here, oh, I just gotta have sex. Those are the guys who I think that was deprived of sex in their high school and college years, that's out here trying to date at 25 and 30 years old. Feel like sex is everything.
Yeah, but they're trying to make up for lost time, but it depends on what you're looking for in a woman, because what I'm looking for a woman right now is a good conversation. If I can just find a woman to have a good conversation with, it'd be about something, it'd be funny, and it'd be cool, she provide me some peace, that's going a long way. Some men, they just want sex. So of course they're gonna manipulate it and make it seem like, well, I pay you for it. If you pay for it, just go get a hooker. But you know what I'm saying, just eliminate the middleman, just call it what it is what you looking for.
And these guys argued me down. He called some 60-year-old dude, hey man, if he put gas in his car and he picked up and they went riding, he paid for it, didn't he? Yeah, they paid, but I said, just because you call some old cat and say that don't mean it holds for me. Paying for it is when she say, if you pay my bills, If you pay my electric bill, if you pay my car note, you can come over here tomorrow after my note paid and get you some. That's what paying for it means to me. Because I know older cats that don't want it no other way. He told me he don't want it no other way. Right. He said if he can't pay for it, he don't want it. Meaning, once he paid for it, she served a purpose and he paid for it. And they don't owe each other nothing. Right. And it's young brothers that's saying that same thing now because they don't want to deal with women. So they would just rather pay her, and that way, if her lights due next week, if her car about to get repo, they ain't got nothing. I paid you this little funky 40, and we did what we did, and that's a wrap. Don't call me when the rent is due. Don't call me when the car note's due. Right. So
that's an arrangement a lot of people have, but if that's what works for them, more power to them. You know?
And that's what it has come to. And then with him saying women only love you for what you can provide, it messed a lot of brothers up, ladies. It messed a lot of brothers up, and y'all wondering why the men are not stepping to the women the way they used to 15 and 20 years ago. This new breed, this social media, what these guys are feeding to these insecure men anyway, right, is messing them up. And then they're seeing successful women in working. But I know another reason I was against that phrase that he said, I've seen beautiful women with guys who couldn't rub two nickels together, don't even have a vehicle. He chewing on a pacifier, he holding one baby, she holding another baby, and they pushing a stroller down the street, and she loyal to him. And I'm looking like, why is she with him? So for him to say that, I know women personally that's dating guys who don't have nothing, drops her off at work, keep her vehicle, go home, call up his boys, they play PS5 till she get off work, and he late picking her up from work. So for men to run behind that phrase, I can't put my finger on it.
But you probably hearing a lot of guys echoing that phrase that are in positions where they're looking at a good woman supporting a scrub or whatever, and they're a good man and they can't, you know what I'm saying? It's like they get the shaft. So you got a lot of guilty men out there that's gonna try co-sign out to this statement because that's been their experience.
Chime in on that, Brianna. Chime in, shit. Y'all gotta clear this stuff up because we got our men are something else.
We are.
Like I don't really. I mean, like I pretty much have my own money, and I don't. If I need if I need some side help, I expect to be able to ask my partner for some help. But I'm just not solely depending on him because I really was always taught to never depend on the guy, you know.
Right. Now, right. I know we kind of digging deep. We go deep on this podcast. Have you ever took care of one per se? Like he had a dream, whether he was a rapper, whether he was trying to get on his feet, and then you trying to be in there, you know, and they usually ride 3 to 4 years before y'all wake up, you know, for the real women wake up. It's like that's a dream. You know, like T.I. say, told her some lies and I sold her some dreams.
But you know what? But in this situation, that's usually the dude's fault. And I've been explaining. You got a woman that's sticking with you 3-4 years while you pursuing your dream. A lot of times it fall off because you're not really pursuing your dream and she can see through it. You're not grinding hard. Or your dream.
You need to go to the yo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's just sometimes you're
at the yo, he getting high in the yo. But I was just asking Brianna, have you ever found yourself in that situation where he wants to go to the studio, you clocking in at corporate, and he's at the studio?
I mean, I've never taken care of somebody like that. I have been in a relationship, and the person wasn't really doing what I felt like they needed to be doing, and you know, that was a conversation had. But I personally have never just taken care of a man because I'm not gonna do that. I'm not that type of woman to just take care of you. Like, you're gonna have to, like, you know, yeah. If I got to get up and work, you got to get up and work. If you're able, you're gonna have to do something. I mean, like I said, I'll support you, but for so long. Because I feel like if the shoe was on the other foot, you don't want me to just be lazy and not doing nothing. So I'm not finna just.
But he ain't really lazy. He going to the and he hanging out with the boys, and he, you know, and he needs you. He needs you to get him a 3.5. You know what I'm saying? Then when you get your income tax, you know, he wanted Jordans, and he wanted about 3 or 4 games for the PS5 that you bought him for Christmas.
I can't be played with like that. I'm not. No. I refuse to. I'm not that type of person. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, hey, a lot of women find themselves falling victim. We have Skip chiming in. What's up, Skip? What's happening with you, man?
Man, what's going on, Black? My bad about that earlier, man.
Hey, you good. Skip is another brother that kind of breaks it down, man. He's spiritual. He do his thing. And he saw the topic tonight, and we just trying to see. And we got a couple women on the panel. We have Brianna in here. We got Miss Zoe stirring up the pot. She got some wild scenarios, bro. You need to go back and replay her scenarios. I had you like, man, look, you'll be spitting fire out your nostrils, man. She's deep. But then we got George on here. What'd you say, Miss Zoe? Me, Skip.
Oh, no. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, we wait on Miss Zoe. Go ahead and comment, Zoe. So she said she couldn't, Brianna said she couldn't take care of a man. She was raised like that, I think. Probably watching moms, aunts, dad. Yeah. What motivated you, Brianna, to say, I'm just not doing it? Because there's so many, and I'm sure you know somebody, whether it's a family member, close friend, is actually doing bad and going in broke trying to take care of a guy who tells her, when I get on my feet, when I get my shit together, we gonna go to Paris. When I get my shit together, we gonna get that $500,000-$600,000 house on the river. And she's batting it, you know what I'm saying? She's like, yeah, he gonna do this, you know.
Yeah, I've came from, you know, my father, he definitely took care of home, and then I've seen my grandfather, he took care of home, my grandma. So I just came from a family where I seen like men take care of home, and I've never seen my mom take care of a man, and I just wasn't raised that way. You know, definitely raised to get your own, but never taking care of a man. Like, you know, yeah, you do have some women who will do that, but yeah, that's not me.
All right, Ms. Zoe, what about you? Before you married or whatever, we understand once you're married that you have to, you know, take the slack if something happened. But coming up dating, did you ever find yourself dating someone who really wasn't trying, who talked a good game, but really wasn't putting nothing in motion?
Well, I'm sorry to say I don't know what that looks like. I've been with my husband since I was about 15.
Woo!
We've been together.
Oh man.
Yeah, we did a lot of growing up together.
Woo!
You know,
okay,
so my husband has kept me. I don't know what it feels like to have to take care of him. He has always taken care of the family, myself and my kids.
Yeah. Wow.
Say that again.
15?
Since I was 15, yeah. Let me tell you something.
That's a long time, Miss Zoe. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I'm what they call a red bone. He saw me and he knew what he wanted. You know. Let me stop joking. But no, he saw me. He saw me. He saw me and he knew what he wanted. And
but a lot of relationships that was really, I'm gonna say high school sweethearts. 15, y'all kind of. I only know one, maybe two couples, period, that last that were dated in high school. I'm gonna give a good. Yeah, it's about 3 that I know personally. There's not many of them because they fizzle out usually when they get about 30 something. So for you guys to be from 15 together 18 and hasn't fizzled out.
We've been married 18. We've been together almost 30 years.
Woo, man, I'm done. What do you think about that, Skip? God dang.
Man, she got me beat by far. It's a blessing. It's definitely a blessing. Definitely a blessing.
It's a damn good blessing.
I don't know. It could be. It could be a blessing, or it could have been that, you know, he's crazy, I'm crazy, and we just crazy together.
True. I hear the Nolia accent over there too.
Yeah, I was saying that too. She said she lived in Houston though, but I was here in New Orleans also.
I hear that Nolia.
Yeah, that's the hood that raised me, and I'm approved by it. Yes, sir.
That's that hood, she say.
Mm-hmm.
So she been with the same guy since she was 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get too deep, but that's a long time, 15. And that's why, okay, guys always want to say they want, okay, we all want women with low body counts, okay? That's cool. But let's look at the flip side of that woman. I never wanted a woman who didn't at least have somebody who she been with, because I always was like, she's gonna wonder what else besides that one guy. Did that in y'all 30 years of dating?
Hell no. What I need to wonder about?
I don't know. It's just that I just know.
All right, let me tell you something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a person that I learn from seeing. You don't always have to explain to me about something just to teach me that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very observant.
Okay.
And as a kid, I was super nosy. I wanted to know all the tea in the neighborhood. And I did. I knew about all the men who was no good, all the men who were perverts. It's like the negative aspect of the things that men do and what men are. It didn't just start with 2024 or 2015. Like, this has been a thing. I'm an 80s baby, so I've seen a lot.
Okay.
I know a lot of people's business. So I mean, when my husband and I got together, I was probably in maybe 1 or 2 other relationships before him, like, nothing serious.
Right.
And
but experiment though. You just.
I didn't need to wonder. I didn't need to. I had my hands full with my husband.
Okay.
When I'm into a person, I'm into a person.
Yeah.
A person that I dealt with before my husband, I knew it was for a good time and not a long time. My husband has shown a lot of the values that my grandfather had. He was like my granddad in certain ways. And my granddad was my male role model. The man in my life while I was growing up. My grandfather was that provider. I don't know who my father is, so my grandfather stepped in and filled that role. So when I saw a lot of the potential of my husband and a lot of the things, a lot of the ways that my grandfather was and my husband was that way, I knew he was he was the person that I wanted to deal with. And I'm not going to say that we didn't have trying times, because of course we did, you know, and we were young. I was 15, he was 19. So like I said, we were growing up together, but there are a lot of things he never wavered on. A lot of things I was able to respect. I was able to respect him also as a young man, because even though he was into a lot of things that the young man was into at that time, there were also a lot of things that he wasn't into. So my husband completely won me over. And yeah, we just been crazy together ever since.
And would you say that's was the love? Okay, now you mentioned that you saw a lot of qualities in him. That's your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Your grandfather, and you know, your grandfather, I'm going to say, head of the household. Breadwinner, took care of everything. So when you married, was it under the condition that he did, you know, kind of provide and do the things that grandfather did?
Those were the qualities that won me over. I'll say, like I said before, if you start that way, I need you to finish that way. Now, along the way, there were times when he wasn't able to provide. That's when I had to step in, put my big girl panties on, and go get it, until he was able to get back on his feet and continue to provide for his family. So, you know, we took care of each other.
When you're in a relationship like that, that's understandable. But when you're dating, should those expectations be up there like that when you're just dating?
Hell no. I tell my kids are grown. I have a 28-year-old daughter on down to a 19-year-old son. And I tell them all the time, as well as I talk to Brianna the same way. Brianna's like my little sister. And, you know, you never treat someone you're just in a relationship with as if they're your spouse. That's a hell no. You don't give someone marriage privileges when you're just going out or you're only talking.
And you know, I preach that a lot on this podcast. That's the reason too why men are not quick to marry a woman, and why women have so much baggage is they're providing wifely duties to somebody that they're dating. They're shacking, they're moving in with them, and they're doing all these wifely duties, cooking, cleaning. Then when she meet that perfect man, she burnt out. A lot of times they burn
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What you think about that, Skip?
Yeah, that makes a lot of, that definitely makes a lot of sense. But sometimes, you know, it can get misconstrued when you put somebody on a certain pedestal. You have these certain expectations with these individuals. Do you give these people permissions to hold you accountable to these positions that you just automatically expect them to do this in return, or expect them to do that in return? You know what I'm saying? And that's falling into what y'all said, giving wifely, you know what I'm saying, duties to, you know, a spouse or somebody who this is nothing that's, you know, official. Not saying that even, you know, sometimes things can go wrong with marriages, as we know as well. But I guess at the end of the day, it's about your bond. And it's about how strong can y'all be together, and are you willing to go through whatever it is that you're going through together to make it on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Like, that definitely makes sense.
All right, Brianna, let me ask you this. Since we're talking about the wifely duties, and you sound kind of traditional, because me listening to you, you sound kind of traditional, like independent, but still have the still have the traditional ways where you still want to be in your feminine from time to time. Have you found yourself in a relationship where you have to provide more than the man you're dating? Provide a little bit more, like Ms. Zoe said, put your big panties on. And how did you feel about it?
Wait, that was the question for me?
Yeah, that was for you.
Okay, did I have to provide more to a man?
Not take care of now, provide. Like Ms. Zoe said, in a long-term relationship where the chips were down and you had to step up and you felt good about it? Or was it he should have done better where you wouldn't have to do it? Because, we going to go out there, men, we known for going out there, and every now and then we're going to make a bad decision. Now, how that woman accepts our bad decision is something different.
Honestly, I haven't experienced that. The closest I've gotten to, I stayed with my child's father, but that was a half and half situation, like where we had that understanding where we were splitting things down the middle, and I just thankfully didn't experience where he wasn't able to support or where I felt like I was paying more. I haven't experienced that.
So you haven't really lived with many guys before?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Just him.
As good girls, we're always taken.
You what?
Us good girls are always taken.
True. I do support it. At first I didn't, but in today's society, you do pretty much have to live with a person to actually know if that's your person a lot of times. Because the way Big Mama then wanted us to do it, no shacking and all that, then you get with somebody, and when y'all finally get together and you guys find out you're not equally yoked, that's a terrible situation.
I agree.
Oh yeah.
So I do feel like today's generation do need to live with them, because you need to know if they, what's going on. Do they get those late night creeps? Do that sneakily? You have to know these things now. Back in the day, it wasn't so much. In Big Mama and them time, and our parents' time, it wasn't, social media wasn't out here where if they thought about Johnny or he thought about Sheila, all they did was thought about, man, I wonder what Sheila was doing. Man, I wonder what and she's sitting there, man, Johnny used to be so fine. I wonder what Johnny used to be doing. Now you can just go on social media and just type in their name and search them and pull them up. Oh, Johnny lived the town over. He just got divorced. It's different out here now, man. So you have to, live with a person, and that makes trust issues so damn hard for the ones who not married and not with their person.
I agree with that, because now technology of your fingers, so you can find out more than just what he was looking like, what she was looking like. Now you can see where they at, and if they choose to put that or whatever have you, now you can act on those same thoughts that you have. Technology has it accessible that you can act on those thoughts and further, you know what I'm saying, depending on where you at, your relationship, having a hard time. Let me see what such and such doing. It's like the access to your fingertips now, so that just makes it even more challenging. You know what I'm saying? Like we said last week in media, multi-ethnical destruction in America. You know what I'm saying? Just
and we're not saying that cheating wasn't out there back then,
right?
But and then people try to argue, well, they was doing the same thing. Yeah, but it's 3 times or 4 times worse now because you can get in the DM. Back in the day, you was hoping that they passed by. You know, you go to the store at the same time, you seen them twice. Let me go and sit up in this car. And I don't like to put his business out there, but I'm sure Skip that parked outside of a restaurant or something and hoping to see that person come back in there. I mean, that was the thing. But now all you got to do is say, hit them in the DM. Where you gonna be at 2:00 tomorrow?
Right, in the DM.
You know, you ain't gotta have a phone number. Back in the day, you had to have a phone number.
Right.
So yeah, cheating is more up there. Like I said earlier, Skip and Brianna, I feel like cheating would be less popular if we actually chose the people who we like, the people that turn you on physically. You know, if you like the buff guys, like I brought up, that's on. Or if you like that guy with the women been talking about later on social media, Kane from the Power series. If you like those guys on Family Business when they take the shirt off, or Ghost when he take the shirt off, you need to kind of be marrying somebody that when you see something like that, you're like, oh, hell, God, I got that at home.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that would calm down all this cheating stuff that we seeing 24/7. The Cardi B's and everybody Offset messing around. Find somebody you like.
If people focus more on what they needed and not what they wanted, they'll be more satisfied with what they have.
It is.
I don't know.
Me either.
Because a buff body is a want, not a need. Just because he have that buff body don't mean he's right mentally.
Correct.
Yeah, but if you like that buff body and that buff body come to you and you know it's a one-nighter, that temptation is a waka flocka.
Well, I mean, if that's what you like, if that's what you want, a one-nighter, if that's all you want to do, you know, as long as you're not hurting anybody, you know. But I mean, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic.
That goddamn
is not necessarily what I need. I need a man that's gonna be strong in spirit, not just have strong biceps.
A lot of them are.
I
You know what, Skip? A woman was the one who came up with the phrase, what he don't know won't hurt him. Okay. That's a woman. A woman created that now.
Mm-hmm.
What he don't know won't hurt him.
Yeah.
Because she got that from a man.
No, man got his game from a woman. Yeah.
Okay. That might be true, but y'all learn how to twist that game up into something y'all wanted it to be, not what we taught y'all.
Man, it's something serious, bro. Miss my head twisted up the pot. Did you hear me? You missed a lot. I know you probably was watching, Skip. Well, Miss Bo ain't no damn joke.
Listen, I whip them pots. Now, when you come to Houston, I'm gonna whip them pots for you and let you see what I'm talking about.
Man. Now, my best friends live in Houston. I got 2 of my best friends live in Houston. One of them, uncle owns a strip club out there in Houston. And he be at that club all the time. And I hadn't made it to Houston yet. It's been a minute since I've been there. But Yeah, it's just a lot going on out here, man, and it's so much. And it's not that we bashing. And what people think, they see our topics and they think we out here to bash women or something. That's not what we do. We actually talk, get a solution, and just understand on how it became, how it came to be what it is. And I get a lot of, education off of this. Like Miss Zoe, like I said earlier, was good for the goose, good for the gander. And sometimes that's the way to tame your mate or your significant other. You know what I'm saying? If they can do it, you can too. And I was listening to my mom used to play a whole lot of songs, and how the family reunion had came up and around 4th of July, and I was trying to remember some of the songs so I can play them at the reunion as a DJ. And I ran across this song by this dude, Ray Parker Jr. And it's a song called "A Woman Needs Love Just Like You Do." So I was checking the song out, and I'm listening to the words, and he was saying some deep stuff on that song. And I was like, our parents had songs that were deeper than the songs we're listening to today. In that song, he said, "A woman needs love just like you do." Okay, Ray Parker Jr. Y'all need to Google this song. It's on YouTube and Spotify. But he said, one day you'll come home early from work. If you neglecting your woman, he was like, one day you'll come home early from work, open up the door and get your feelings hurt. And I'm like, these dudes was talking this stuff back in the early 80s, man. And this stuff is going on today, but it's 3 times on steroids. So trust issues, and that always been my thing, and that's why it took me forever to even try to settle down. Going through what I did in college, high school, college, fresh out of college, and then you think if karma is real, I just didn't trust who was going to be my karma. So that's why it took forever. That just wasn't my thing. That trust issue stuff, that was my biggest thing. And now I really couldn't survive. Like, I don't know if Brianna's single or whatever, or.
I'm single.
Man, it's hard. It gotta be hard with social media and whoever you're talking to still having access to their exes, or then now y'all got, well, they've been had it, but right now it's work boyfriends, work girlfriends, work husbands. It's a crazy world out there. How do you go forward with seriously finding a mate? Because they'll be whining and dining and being there for you, and then one day you can just be out rolling and see him with a whole nother woman and a kid that you knew nothing about. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, I agree. Dating now is hard. That's why I really don't focus on that. I really focus right now on just bettering myself for me and my family, and not more so focusing on a guy. Because, like you said, this day and era, it's just not the same. And I don't feel like people are genuine, anymore. I really don't. And it's, I date, but I just, I'm not really focused on it, to be honest.
So when you say you date, you just do it because that's what you kind of, it's part of the norm. So you was like, okay, Johnny keep asking me to go to this restaurant, I'm just gonna go out with him. Johnny keep asking me to go to the fair, so I guess I'll go with Joe to the fair. Is it like that, or it's like you're not dating for a purpose, you just dating to get out the house?
No, I am dating for a purpose. I'm dating currently one particular person, let me say, because I've always been like, honestly, with my kid's father. I mean, for a great bit of time, I'm gonna say. And so I really haven't really dated like that. Like, but I don't know how to take. I'm still like, I don't want to get too deep into my dating situation because I can go all in, but we're live and stuff.
No, we're not going there. We're not doing that.
Right,
Okay,
right. So I don't know what to say. I'm gonna just be quiet.
Have you had that situation? Because I'm a music person, and I like that song Coco Jones have out, and where she's saying she took like that song by Lenny Williams, that girl, I love you song, and they're playing that, and she's saying soon as she finds somebody she like, the guy start liking her pictures, and he coming, there you go. I think the name of the song is There You Go. And and you said you kept dating you've been with your baby daddy for a long time. Did you find yourself in that situation where when you think you're ready, are you trying to move on? Here he comes. He wants his family back, and then you have to put who you dating on hold, and y'all go through y'all little ups and downs, and you break up again. And as soon as you think you're gonna fall in love with somebody else, he come again. Hey, this is my family. Was it a situation like that, or?
Well, yeah, it is like me and my child's father. We just actually like it's a recent, like a year ago split type of thing. So I would say that's still kind of fresh for us. And yes, it's kind of difficult when you're trying to branch away from your kid's father when you don't feel like it's there. It's just not there right now. Maybe it's just not our season. And yes, it can be difficult trying to date and your kid's father still wants to be with you. Very much so.
Or trying to stop you from being with someone else.
I'm talking about.
Do I know the song?
Have you heard it?
What was that song again?
It's There You Go, I think, by Coco Brown. Yeah. When you get a break, look up Coco's song and check it out and see can you relate to it. Well, what you were saying, I think that was Miss Zoe saying something.
Oh, I was only saying, maybe that baby daddy is trying to stop her from being with someone else. If I can't be with you, no one can.
Now that was going on back in our parents' days, because I used to hear them say that they don't want nobody else to want you. I used to hear that a lot when I was growing up.
But a lot of guys are like that still today. Like they're doing a little too much now.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I learned from everybody else's mistakes. I made my own mistakes, but I definitely learned from other people's mistakes. And I be so in tuned into other people's business. It's crazy, from a distance.
Right.
The things that I see is crazy. Playing like we're friendly or they're friendly. I'm gonna be your friend. You could talk to me about anything, just so he can tell her, that NIGGA ain't good for you. Don't stop dealing with him. Why you still talking to him? He playing you, right? But won't step up and be the man that she needs him to be. Barely being a baby's father, but always ready and willing to hand out some, sex. The things I see are just crazy.
So Skip, do a woman love a man without conditions, or do you feel like each woman takes to a man for what he can provide for her at that moment?
I would say if it was a moment that I guess the longer you spend time with a person, you will realize if it would be more genuine or not. But I would definitely say that, you know, women will see, you know, what can this man do for me, or how can he benefit me, or how can he make me or my situation better. I would definitely say that that's something, you know what I'm saying, looked at.
Especially
You know,
now.
women that, yeah, especially now.
It's less on loving this person, because back in the gap, we look at our mom them and Big Daddy and Big Mama them. I don't really think it was based on what they can do, because a lot of us men was already raised to be the provider of the household, if you're going to take on a household. And I think back then they fell in love first with each other, and then they start looking at finances. Now we look at finances, you know, what they bring to the table. I think it's more of a, men mostly want peace. An independent, like Miss Zoa say, her husband, strong, independent man, he just really want peace, loyalty. If she work, fine. If she don't, fine. And that's where they're at. But to a lot of today's society, men, we're looking at what her education, how long she been on this job, what kind of car she drive, and what she can add to what we already have. And then the women that don't have is looking for what he has that she can benefit from. But the disadvantage I feel to that situation, especially when dealing with a man, is once a man is established, comfortable in what he's doing, and he has options, that woman who's with him because of his bank account or his status, she can kind of lose out, because a lot of other women he has options are tugging at this same 10% guy.
Goes back to what I said about what we want and not what we need. We paying attention to all the wrong things. Just because I don't have a job and my husband provides, I provide as well. I provide comfort. I provide undiseased, clean, you know.
Right.
I take care of the kids. I make sure he don't have to deal with things that are unnecessary for him or add stress to his life. I cook. I clean. You know, I do other things that he don't have to do so he can be in peace. So I'm providing comfort and peace. He's providing finances
You're providing, and that's what makes that balance. Because that's that balance.
I may not be providing financially all the time, because remember, I am a business owner too.
Right.
So, take my finances out of it. Okay, I may not be providing finances, but I'm providing in other areas, so he can be as stressed less as possible.
Yeah, I mean, keeping a house up and everything is a job within itself. So and actually that's the hardest job, because you constantly got to do this, especially if you're cooking, you're cleaning, you keep handling the finances as the money come in. That's a 24-hour job, believe it or not. You go to bed whenever you go, but when you wake up, you back on your feet. You really don't have a day off, because even on Saturdays and Sundays, that house the dishes still need to be washed. You know what I'm saying? If that's your traditional, role.
So I think some guys look at it from, I don't want to say the wrong angle, but from a very skewed angle. And it's within delusion to say a woman is not providing because you're worried about finances. If you're making your own money, you ain't got to worry about what I'm making. When I'm providing you everything else that you need in your life. You don't have to worry about whether if I'm loyal. You don't have to worry about if I'm keying in your homeboy's faces when you're not around. You don't have to worry about whether if I truly love you for you or your money. I'm keeping a lot of worry and strife from your life. And I'm adding to. I'm giving you time to chill and have by yourself. I'm giving you time to play on your PlayStation, like you say, your PS5. I'm giving you time to sleep. You work a 12-hour shift, you need an 8-hour rest. I'm giving you that.
Yeah, that's peace. And tell them, Skip, that's the main thing. Majority of what we consider real men want. We just want peace. And if the peace not there, any real man quick to get out of there. Because we don't need it. There's too many options out there today. Too many. And that's on both sides. I mean, it used to just be women had all the options, but it ain't like that no more because it ain't that many guys out here now. So it's more women to one guy now than it ever been.
True.
Especially in Atlanta.
But yeah, as we get ready to close it, can a woman love a man unconditional? And I say they can, because like the scenario I gave, I see all the time, and I'm sure Skip and you guys too. Riding down the road, you will see a nice looking woman who y'all feel can have anybody she want, but she with this guy and they walking. She pushing a baby, he chewing on a damn pacifier, holding a baby, and she holding another one, and they pushing one in the damn stroller, walking to Walmart. She can't be with him for no damn conditions. I don't,
You got a point.
That's love.
You have a point. You have a point.
Yeah.
But I tell you one thing.
Y'all see this, right? Y'all have seen that too, right?
Soon as Pookie cheat, she gonna be with his homeboy who have the Jag. Living in a condo. He ain't got no kids.
She pulled out Pookie. I told you that Miss Zoe something else, man. Miss Zoe knows the stuff. She pulled out Pookie on y'all. But yeah, the Pookies and Chaz, they call it. But yeah, so I feel like not all women are with men for what they provide, even though, like Miss Zoe said earlier, it's nothing wrong with having preferences of what you choose to date and what you don't date. And I get that. Just like a lot of other women were saying on some of the videos that they can date a broke man. You know what I'm saying? Even though one or two were saying they can build with him. But how long will you have to listen to that dream that never comes to reality? So it's like I say, it's tough out there. It's super tough. So yeah, I feel like if the right one can, but I'm also with Brianna too, that she's not going to take care of a man. He has to at least have something, and I understand that. So I understand, and it depends on the situation. This can go all kind of ways, but I feel like they can love without conditions. Because when I first heard it, and you just used to, you're a real man. Skip a real man. We want to be. We saw Dad and them being head of household, and Big Dad and them being head of household. Big Dad and them doing by any means necessary to make sure the family functioned and the house was ran and all the bills were paid, whether she was contributing or not. When you grow up seeing that, it's just natural. So then to hear all the brothers rallying behind, oh, she just with him because of what he can provide or what he can do, you get kind of, mixed feelings on that, unless you just know who you are and what you stand for. But when you try to preach that to them, they don't want to hear it. Nah, if you didn't have a job, and if you wasn't doing this, y'all probably wouldn't even be together today. That big word is probably.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't advise no woman to be with a man who can't provide. But if and we understand, like I was saying with Zoe, if you together and you married, or y'all long-term in relationship in it and in an agreement together, and something happened and you have to pick up the slack, that's normal. That's a no-brainer. But to be given all the wifely duties and y'all just dating and he can walk away at any time, y'all shacking and he can just say, hey, I don't want this, or vice versa. That's when I feel like it's not so, it's not so cool.
Yep.
I wish we could come back and have this conversation again, because I want to talk about the women who let the brothers lean on them, and then when they get on their feet, they get married to a whole nother woman. I want to talk about that.
That's a good. Look, Skip saying, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll probably try to touch upon that next week. And all right, Skip. Unconditional love. Can a woman love a man unconditional? Break it down. Closing remark.
Absolutely. I would say absolutely. You made the example with the couple together with one in their arms, the passy in his mouth, and pushing that stroller to Walmart to do what they got to do. That's unconditional, brother. That's unconditional. And for a woman to stand by a brother, you know what I'm saying, and build, watch him build. You know what I'm saying? It's just like making the long-term investment, plant that seed, help nurturing, you know what I'm saying, get him to where you got to go. And then eventually one day, you know what I'm saying, something better will blossom, reap that harvest. But it's absolutely possible, it's absolutely possible, as long as it's genuine. You know what I'm saying?
Brianna, drop it. Finals. Do you think y'all ladies can actually love a man without conditions? Even though, you independent and all, but do he have to have something, bring something to the table for you to be faithful and loyal?
He does. At the end of the day, he does have to bring something to the table. I'm bringing something to the table. I'm not dating him for his money, but we should be able to help each other. And like Skip said, build.
Right. All right, Miss Zoe, close it out. Let's hit a wisdom, right? This Miss Wisdom.
Oh no, not asking Petty Betty Wright Jr. Risa Tisa did it. She listened to all that man lies and delusions, I guess.
So it can happen.
I mean, Jesus did walk on water. It's possible, I guess. I don't know. I agree with George. I don't know. I don't think so. Nope. That's a no. That's a no.
Hey, she tried to lead into the panel, but she couldn't. She was like, man, I don't know. I want to go with y'all, but yeah, fuck that. I'm voting for Trump. She said, I want to go with y'all with this Kamala thing, but God damn it, I'm going with Trump.
Don't go that far.
Well, with all that being said, I want to thank the panel for coming out, man. And these are discussions we do on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central Standard Time. And we just get on here, man, and we just speak on a lot of things that's going on, things that people are afraid to approach, things that people thinking. And inbox me, Ms. Zoe, that topic, and then we'll put it together and throw it out there. And we'll try to speak on that one next week. And with all that being said, it was nice meeting you, Brianna. I want to give a shout out to George, Austin, Skip, and we'll have him ready and geared up to go next week. And Miss Zoe, like I said, you stirred up the pot, man. You made the podcast tonight, Miss Zoe. You had everybody scratching their head and thinking Austin was stuttering. You came on here and did your thing. But with all that being said, we out, same time, same place. Next week, we streaming on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on the App X. Speak on It podcast, 2K24. And with all that saying, it's happening, so we might as well speak on it. I'm the host, DJ Black. And with all that being said, we out. Peace.
Good night.
Allah.
What you think, man?
I've been in the polyamory lifestyle. I can't even say lifestyle because it's not a lifestyle. It's a way of loving, not a way of living. I've been polyamorous for about 10 years now. Okay. And the mindset for me is mentally, I think I've been polyamorous longer than actually practicing it because I've always felt that this monogamy just doesn't fit for me. Right. I don't understand why I have to only love one person or why I can only show affection for one person. Where is this written? Why do I have to go along with what the societal standard supposedly is? Right.
And then
the problem comes when you love somebody too much. When you let yourself love somebody too much,
and they don't love you the same.
It's not even matter whether they love you back or not. They can love you back, but it's still unhealthy to love somebody that much. Which I understand that ideology of that. Well, I can't have. I might as well. I've been there. I know that. But at the same time, you have to realize, what your culpability is in a relationship going, however it went. You start thinking about, well, damn, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. So, you can love somebody too much. And then, see, this complicates things for us men because we already have a hard time forming those emotional attachments. You already told them, don't do this.
The missing link to that goes back to a time before we even thought, why doesn't my father is that a protection for me?
Right.
Or is that the way he was raised? Or maybe somebody hugged him one day, a man hugged him. I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm just saying we got
but there are things that could have happened that absolutely that caused him to be the way he is.
Made him feel weird, needed.
Right.
So the things that we think are sometimes a rejection or a lack may have been a protection.
And most of the time, they are absolutely. So if we don't understand that, all we know is a rejection.
You see, what I understand with my father,
men were going to jail, killing each other, and then now we got bisexual, then we got gays, now we got transgender. So with all of that going on, the purpose of that was removing the black man, the black male from the household. Okay? So with him not being in the household, she's getting the welfare, or she's out there in the workforce, forced to take care of herself, and if she have children, to take care of the children alone. Whether he's in jail, whether he's dead, whether he's bisexual, whether he's gay, whatever. The black male was removed from the home, and black woman was forced to provide for the children, for herself.
You're missing one other thing that removes black male from the home. That's white women. Because after a while, it was run on black men, white women. Yeah, white women. At one point, black men, they just had to have a white woman. No matter what their social economical status was, white women was the way to go. And so that pulled a lot of black men out of the house.
Damn, I sure missed that. I mean, I know Rick James. You know, I know. You know, I mean, you hit it. I just didn't think of that as a major absence of the black man. So you
being a provider means so many things.
Right.
It means put you in a house. You know, it means I got your back. It means we're doing this together. It means I'm not gonna walk away when things get hard. You know, that's providing, right? I'm gonna provide emotional protection so that you can, you know, I'll be present for you when you don't feel like you can be there for yourself or whatever, you know. So there's so much more definition to the thing, right? And even on the flip side, looking at, you know, men with kids, right? I remember I did not want a man who had kids, and I was about 25 when I met my ex-husband.